And tackle the heat of the new McSpicy burger from Macca's. The Tube Man's not too far away. Damo's here. Luke Darcy, Nathan Brown, myself, Mark Howard, and Chris Judd. We had Kenny Hinkley on earlier, Darcy. We mentioned his famous speech in the GFL Grand Final many a year ago. There's been a lot of requests to hear it. Judge, you've never heard it. If you want to get pumped up for this game, having a listen to Kenny in full voice.
Right from the very start, when I come to the club, we wanted to get somewhere. We wanted to take something. Now you've got it staring at you. You've got it looking right you in the eye right now. We prepared you for the game. We got you right. We give you every chance to run this game out. Now you've got to give it back to us. You've got to want to give it back to everyone standing around this group now. You've got to want to take this thing and really drive it home. Most of all, you remember most of all, what gives them the right to say Bell Park's got nothing left? Bullshit. Remember that? We decided Bell Park, they got nothing to play for. Be stuffed, we got nothing to play for.
Get stuck in, Howie. Come on.
Everything you love about footy, isn't it?
Imagine you at the Two Blues with that sort of fire.
Wow, Howard.
Yours were more post-game rather than
we were more
in-game.
focused on post-game speeches than pre-game speeches.
What happened to that post-game?
Damo, any more news floating around before we get into the full game preview here?
I'd rather talk about the Two Blues from back in the early
let's
90s.
get some news away, Damo. Come on.
A couple of trade updates, and we're going to get some clarities in a guaranteed way in 2 weeks' time when the actual grand final's finished and the free agency opens up on the Friday after that game. But Isaac Smith's an interesting one. There is a deal put to him from Hawthorn, but he's also got considerations from other clubs, and the one that's really in his eyes and mind, Brownie, is Melbourne Footy Club, who have an apparent need to go and get a wingman. They got one in the name of Langdon this year, and it had a really good solid year. They want another one to help them again next year. They would like him to join them. And the way I read the Isaac Smith situation right now is it's either stay as a Hawk or go to the D's.
Yeah, I can understand why Melbourne would be after him. I know that Melbourne are a club who need outside run at the moment. They need more midfielders. They obviously need a key forward as well. But I just don't think Melbourne have got the players who can run as much as Isaac Smith. He's one of those players that just covers the ground. And I guess late 20-minute mark of the third quarter, Isaac Smith continues to run, Judge, and he's a hard man to match up on. He doesn't get tagged or anything anymore, but he's a very, very good runner, which just helps you with overlap, just helps you with rotations as well.
It's just his age, isn't it? 31 now, so
he's only got 2 left, I reckon.
I think so. Yeah, 2 left, and pending what you give up. But it could be a really nice fit, Damo, for him as well to be refreshed and go to a club who I think could potentially contend in that 2-year period.
They've also explored the possibilities, Das, of Ben Brown, and while it's not absolutely locked in that they will absolutely make a bid for him of official nature, but they have looked at him. The team also spending some time looking at Ben Brown is Essendon, who, as we know, needs to replace a big man in their forward line in Joe Danaher, and in the past week there just has been some traction from the Essendon camp with regards to Ben Brown.
Yeah, that is a fascinating unfolding story, Damo. Ben Brown kicked 60 goals on average 3 years in a row, and then it fell apart this year. Understandably, their game style changed. He got injured. It's just a horrid year for North Melbourne, and suddenly Ben Brown's ratings has just gone off a cliff for Juddy. Someone who can kick that amount of goals. Fascinated that you can go from that height to suddenly scrambling a little bit, Dame. Is that a bit unfair to find a home? Is that...
Yeah, it is. There's not 17 clubs that are going to be asking the question of him. And to your point, how you can have a situation where he's not going to provide any great currency for North Melbourne. And the narrative is that as that changed. Pre-COVID, North Melbourne wanted him to stay, but it was on their terms, and those terms that they would not budge on were 3 years only. The money was about the same that he wanted for 4 years. They were only going to give him 3 years, and that's their right to do so. But it meant that they wanted him, and they were desperate to keep him. But then post-COVID, the whole relationship just deteriorated to the point where he got injured. There was even some speculation about was he actually able to play those last games. He didn't, and look, his knee and foot may have been so bad that it couldn't have, but he certainly wasn't in a rush to get back, and the relationship has just got to the point where there's just nothing that can be done to patch that up.
Damo, you've been a star all season. We've missed you when you've been up in the hub. Always you bring us a headline before you depart. Now, I know you've done a lot of thinking about that this week, Damo. What do you got for tomorrow's newspaper?
Well, I actually think the Port Adelaide team will be winning tonight, which allows the headline riders to go with something. This might be saving the best for the last in the headlines of the year.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll judge that.
Everything is rosy.
I reckon that's all right.
That's not bad, actually.
Pretty good.
That's not bad, Damo. Nice finish. Hey, what are you doing for your birthday tomorrow, Damo?
I'll be doing Triple M in Brisbane with the Bristle, who is out of the quarantine, and then I'll be going to the Gabba for the big final tomorrow night. Looking forward to that. Seeing
you going?
A crowd and a massive game.
Back on the fizz tomorrow, Damo, or we have a night off?
No, we'll probably be having a night off, I think, Judge.
For your 50th birthday tomorrow.
Well, I'm not going to be I'll be working for most of the day, and then at the footy at night.
Well, you can't do both?
Well, not with the footy show the next morning too, Brownie. Early start up here.
Can there be a chant going around the Gabba? Damo's on the fizz. Damo's on the fizz. I can hear it now.
You were very sweaty last week, so maybe we found out the reason why.
Happy birthday, mate. We've missed you. You've done a fine job as always.
Mate.
Stay safe, mate, and we hope to see you in person soon when the world gets back to normal.
See you, boys. Enjoyed it as always.
Great to have Damien. Hey, big breaking news out of the United States of America. I know it's normally Damo's department, but your man Bruce Springsteen has just released the boss. Bit late for the grand final, which is disappointing. The boss has just released a statement saying, I quote, "If Trump wins the election, I'm on the first plane and moving to Australia."
The boss?
The boss.
I thought the boss would be a tight-on Republican, wouldn't
Well, he's against him. And
Born in the USA and
moving to a US.
Wow.
So, big, what do you make of that, Dars?
I like it. Someone better tell the boss what it's like in Victoria at the moment. He might just rethink his plans.
I'm not sure he's coming to Elwood. I think he's more thinking Queensland at the moment. I think he
wouldn't
is.
you love to have the boss as a full-time resident in Australia?
Wow.
There you go.
Big news. Two-man, good evening to you. A preliminary final. Well, you've done 20 seasons. This will be preliminary final 40 for you, somewhere in that region. What do you got for us? Good evening to you, great man.
Good evening, Howie. Well, last time these two sides met back in round 11, Richmond were missing 7 premiership players, and this is an intriguing stat for the Tigers. And we're about to go to the end.
Keep going, Chewy, till it happens. Yes.
Okay, only twice from 12 outings has a Victorian team won a prelim final when travelling interstate. Bulldogs against GWS in 2016, Hawks against Freo back in 2015.
That is a big stat, Chewy. As the rain comes down at the Adelaide Oval, you got another little teaser for us?
Yeah, and Zach Butters, second the club for intercepts in the forward half. Porter scored 58 points from his turnovers in the forward half.
We acknowledge we play our great game on this land and respect the cultures of all First Peoples, their contribution to our nation and to the game of Australian rules football. We now introduce Senior Ghana Custodian Carl Winder-Telfer for the Welcome to Country.
Namani actually, Nico Ticker in Yano Kumayatana, Nanyare Window good night, Nadlu Yarta. Greet you to the spread of our place, and Yeleka welcome you to culture. We welcome you to the 2020 AFL Finals.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you now please join with the coaches, players and umpires for the Australian National Anthem.
Wonderful scenes at the Adelaide Oval. Never tear us apart, won't be too far away. We'll give you a bit of an earful of that as well. But while we wait, judges, Ken Hinkley goes across and shakes Damien Hardwick's hand. 3 things Port need to do to win tonight, please.
Well, they need to get their hands on the footy around the contest. We've spoken about their big-bodied midfielders, players like Rockcliffe, Wines, Boak, Sam Pepper. They could be really suited to these wet conditions. Other thing they need to do is they need to preclude Richmond's intercept marks in their defensive 50. We know Richmond are really good at getting off and intercepting the ball in their D50. No doubt the big full forward Charlie Dixon's going to play a huge role in that happening. The other thing to remember is you can't win a final in the first quarter, but you can lose it, Howard. Richmond have a lot more experience in this stage of the season than Port. Port needs to make sure they settle. They're in the contest early with their contested possession. Make sure Richmond don't get the jump on them.
Tommy Jonas wins the toss, and he'll be kicking down towards the Riverbank stand. 3 things, Noodles, for the Tigs.
Well, one thing's already been done for them, Howard. The rain coming. They are the best wet weather side in the competition, bar none, Richmond. I think this gives them an advantage over the top of Port Adelaide. Put pressure on the defensive end. I'm talking McKenzie. Good player, McKenzie, but he'll be undersized tonight. Cleary, Jonas. They've been beaten once this year by Tom Hawkins. If Tom Lynch and Jack Rewalt can get out of hand, they can do that, and they need to even up the contested footy. We heard Ken Hinkley talk about contested footy. That's what it's all about for them. It was 43 plus to Port Adelaide last time they played. So if Richmond can even that up, and I think they will in the wet, they'll go a long way to winning this game.
Heat is on, Das.
Heat is on the Port Adelaide Power for Mind, Howie. 150th year. It's a massive...
Scenes at the Oval. David Koch with his scarf banging into Gil McLaughlin beside him. McDonald's, Triple M Rocks footy, the first of the prelims. Port Adelaide taking on the Tigs. Here's Luke Darcy.
Let's get it underway. It's Lycett, it's Nan Curvis. Give the first hit out to Lycett. Dusty and Ollie Wines came hard at him. Cochin got the first kick. Shea Bolden got smashed by Hamish Hartlett. Oh, it's red hot. You just expect this in a prelim final, and it was magnificent. Let's get down to Tommy Brown.
Das, there's 25,000 plus fans here. About 26,000 is the capacity on it. Feels full, such as the atmosphere.
Bob Jane T-Marts by 3. Get one free on selected performance tyres from Bridgestone and Yokohama. BobJane.com.au. The Tigers get the first clearance. Off the ground goes to Bolton, and he just says, just wind things back, slow them down. It's on the outer side. He'll drive a long ball into the pocket. Tough for the big forwards. It's wet. And the ball is fisted across the boundary line. Tommy, talk about the conditions, the rain. What's happening?
Howie, the rain started at about 2 o'clock this afternoon. It was moderate to heavy. It's still moderate. There's a lot of water underfoot, and it continues as we speak. And if you sit in it, it's enough to be, well, pretty uncomfortable.
Tommy Brown for Bob Jane T-Marts. And here's Tom Lynch with his body and strength. Lycett doing the ruck work. Nice handball came out. And it will be the Power exiting defence. They were looking for Charlie Dixon, but Noah Bolter in the way. Able to fist it over for a boundary throw-in. Listen to the atmosphere, Brownie and Judge.
Just electric, isn't it? You'd kill to, well, you could be playing, but even just to be sitting in that crowd with that sort of energy, brilliant thing to watch.
Who wins, Judge?
Port for mine.
Noodles?
Tigers by 5 goals.
Das?
I'm going to go with Port Adelaide.
Chew?
Going for Port Adelaide.
The big boys, Nan Curvis. And he comes up against his opposition ruckman Lycett as Richmond drive the ball forward. Spills out the back. Port have got the numbers. Cleary gives it to McKenzie. Had a good year. Just spirals a high ball in the middle of Adelaide Oval, and Vostone, one of those premier Richmond defenders, marks contested style on his chest.
They're the ones Charlie Dixon's really got to be able to fight his way through. I know it's a 2v1, but Port Adelaide need him to bring that ball to ground.
Releasing handball went Noah Bolter's way. Jonas, the skipper, just fisted it down intelligently to Ollie Wines, and now Ebert. He was pushed as he kicked it. It affected the kick, but it's favoured Butters, who picked it up beautifully. Got it out to Todd Marshall. Marshall had an open goal and missed. Just a really good opportunity. Young forward's been pretty quiet in recent weeks, Brownie, and that was one he'd like to take back.
Well, he took the opportunity to have a shot at goal, and he was well within his rights, Duke. 40 metres out, he should have nailed the goal, but he had 2 players to his left and to his right. One of those is Robbie Gray. He probably should have given it to.
On a night where goals will be a premium. Tight in the prelim, tough in the clinches and wet. Through the hands of Martin. Really well done by Jonas, the skipper. Intercepted it coming the other way with a releasing hand pass to Wines. Now Amon just floats the ball forward. Big Charlie takes it, kicking half from home. Wants to play on, the crowd love it. He drives it off the instep and straight away, straight to Nan Curvis. Nice set up from the Tigers, Judge.
Yeah, it was. Really good spot there for Nan Curvis to fill that hole and take the intercept mark.
Got it moving quickly. He wanted it Camden McIntosh. Ryan Burton came through. So we've only got the one score. It's a minor one to Port Adelaide on the Triple M IG Liquor scoreboard. Early stages, this first quarter of the big prelim final. And a really vocal Adelaide crowd, as you'd expect. Port Adelaide's 150th year. The most successful football club in Australia, won more premierships than anyone else, and they are desperate for another one in 2020. Trent Cotchin was upended, good tackle, Dusty slick hands, beautifully done. Got it back, Bashar Hooley's shaked it out of bounds on the full, and that gets a standing ovation, Howie.
Thank you. Could you see the nerves, Howard? Charlie Dixon's kick was a bit skinny. Bashar Hooley there, kicking the ball out in the full. Plenty of nerves out there for the players.
Dersma, good to see him back out of the side after being concussed in the last qualifying final a couple of weeks ago. Cotchin, looping hand pass to space. Port seem to want the footy at the moment. Again through Dersma, now Hooley. Contest on the near wing. Port Adelaide a point. Richmond yet to score. Port will drive the ball forward again. Richmond have got the numbers in the air. Punched out the back to Pickett. He absolutely spills out of his hands. Would like that opportunity again. Broad taken in a tackle. Can't get away. Sorry, Brownie.
You can see they're playing with Nankervis. As soon as he does the ruck work, he's getting behind the footy because they're worried about Charlie Dixon taking a mark already and spoil one to the ground.
A little nervous one for Marlon Pickett too, and that can sometimes just get the arousal levels up the opposition. And Port Adelaide had a fair bit of time in their forward half. Kane Lambert's kick partially smothered. This one's at half back now for the Tigers. They can't get through. Travis Boak managed to pick it up, shinned it forward to the edge of forward 50 for Port Adelaide. Ebert in there. Dersma handballs it forward. In comes Robbie Gray. Broad the other way. Robbie Gray managed to get the handball out. Brad Ebert can't keep it in. And it is as hot and tight and tough in the contest as you would expect in a big prelim final.
If you're a senior player, I'd be getting over to Marlon Pickett and saying, mate, just plunk the next one, because he can be a nervy player at times, Marlon Pickett. I think he just needs some reassurance in a big final. He's done it on the big stage in a grand final, but I just reckon he needs someone to settle his nerves for him.
He's playing game number 19, Brownie, Marlon Pickett. Game number 20 could be a second grand final appearance. Quite extraordinary.
It is.
Quite a story it is. Jonas pumped across the line by Rioli. I think he was across the line. I don't know where that stands, Chewy, but we'll keep an eye on that throughout the night. The ball on centre wing. Port Adelaide one behind. Richmond yet to score on the Triple M IJ Liquor scoreboard. IJ Liquor proudly independent.
Been fairly prominent, Tom Jonas, the skipper from Port Adelaide, done a fantastic job. Outstanding individual he is, Tom Jonas. Lysette won it down. Pal Pepper went back and farmed it out to Tommy Rockcliffe. Just his second ever final, Rockcliffe. And now Lambert under some pressure, and it landed right in the lap of Dusty on the AFL logo on the wing, and this is where the Tigers are dangerous. They get rolling quickly. Out came Lynch. He's taken the mark about 60 metres out. Looks down the line. Rewalt's there. Second attempt. McKenzie did well not to give away a free kick. Ground ball he won. Carl Amon did really well.
The ability of Dustin Martin to make something out of nothing. Marked the ball on centre wing, but then instantly played on, used his drivers to get away, and the handball to Shane Edwards, who used the footy well. They should have got more result out of that, but Dustin Martin creating something out of nothing.
Jim McKenzie did well not to give away a free kick to Revolt. Slippery ball got him. Triple M Seabus super special comments. Seabus is super fun, you can trust. You got Noodle Brown. You got Chris Judd as Bolter sends a ball deep inside 50. Cleary spoils Lynch. He's got the big job. Gets off Lynch's head now. Rioli. Quick snap. Spoiled. Geez, he's hot in the clinches early. Now coming in is Pickett. That man takes on a couple of tacklers. Amon sees him across the line. Deep forward for the Tigers, who trail by one behind. That's the only score. 11 to go in the first term. That is all on the Triple M IJ Liquor scoreboard. IJ Liquor there, of course, proudly independent.
Really nervy start for Marlon Pickett. A couple of forgettable moments. That young man, it's now inside forward 50 for the Tigers. Lynch and Lysette. Edwards trying to access the footy. Pal Pepper the other way. And then it was Jonas again dumping it out. And over the boundary line in front of Noah Bolter, who's got the matchup, it looks like, on Charlie Dixon at the moment. So we'll follow that one with interest.
Dixon tore him apart last time, Duke. He only kicked the 2 goals, but he had 6 shots at goal. Took about a dozen marks. He was just about the best man on the ground.
Just one behind scored so far on the Triple M IJ Liquor scoreboard. IJ Liquor proudly independent.
Asprey having a run in the ruck again. Marbor Chol didn't get back into the side. Here's a chance for Port to just inch the ball forward. They run through the middle of the ground through Dersma. Spearing ball inside 50. Gets over the back of Grimes. Dixon arrives on the scene. Deep in the pocket. Hand passes to no one. Bolter showing confidence to run out of half back. The kick's big. It's important. And Martin in the one-on-one pushes aside the All-Australian Burn Jones.
How good was that to see the best one-on-one player in the game, Dusty Martin. Well played again, McKenzie, who's out of position. got back. Rewalt goes a ton of ball, which was just bizarre. Straight into the lap of Amon, and he finds Ollie Wines, who wanted the runner. Houston coughed it up. Tigers scramble to kick forward, just staying in the boundary line. Jonas and Rewalt. And it will be thrown in 60 metres around from the Tigers' goal.
Sometimes you can be too clever, and that's exactly what Jack Rewalt tried to do then. He just needs to pick that ball up. He's a better player than that to give it off. And you can already see, when Port Adelaide break that defence of Richmond, it is a very open half of the ground, and Richmond need to be able to stop that run that they're having in this first term.
McIntosh from the ground ball from the ruck contest. Squirreling out the back is Prestia to Graham. Possession all important. Tough, slippery conditions. Ebert with a helmet on. High ball to the wing. Loston looks to the boundary line. Pal Pepper does everything he can to keep it in and does, but he's given it straight back to Bolter. Now forced to Pal Pepper again. Picked up by Rosie, the exciting one. Free kick, advantage played. Wobbles it inside 50. Nathan Broad. So I've already seen 3 or 4 defensive marks inside 50 for the Tigers, Chew.
Yeah, third intercept mark, Howie.
Triple M Movember stats in Australia. Men account for 3 out of every 4 suicides. Grow a Mo to save a bro. Go to Movember.com.
Hurry kick out of defence has been marked by Marshall. He spots a target at centre forward, picked it out beautifully, and he found Butters, who normally is pretty clever by foot. He put Carl Amon under all sorts of pressure. Now the Tigers, who can rebound from half-back Prestia. Well tackled by Connor Rosie. Sets Jonas an opportunity. Houston concedes a bit of ground by hand. Goes back to McKenzie, who dumps it to half-forward. Here's lost in the third man in. And it's off his hands. Over a boundary throw in. Nate Brown.
Well, that's told us how many marks Richmond have taken in their defensive 50. Intercept marks, that is. Against Brisbane in that game they played a couple of weeks ago, they didn't take 1 defensive intercept mark in their defensive 50. Tonight they've already got 4.
Mighty Melbourne Storm 6-0 up against the Raiders early. That's a prelim. The Storm looking to make their way into yet another NRL Grand Final. Possibly the best football team in Australia, that one. Bolton, over the last 15 years or so, spirals the ball forward. Lynch stripped to the footy. Jonas has been everywhere. He's just been calm in tough situations early. McKenzie ducks his head. Falls, free, bouncing ball, just a little bit skinny. That was off the boot of Lambert. And the Tigers get their opening score, 1 behind a piece. Triple M IJ Liquor scoreboard.
Just watching, not sure if I mentioned it before, but Asprey, the backup ruckman Juddy for the Tigers. So when Nankervis goes up, we saw Sean Grigg, a premiership ruckman in 2017. So not averse to being a bit creative, Juddy, in the ruck.
No, it's courageous at this time of year, isn't it? But they've been prepared to do it in big games before, and it's worked well for them so far this year.
Richmond.
Dylan Grimes, who has been accused of just accentuating a couple of free kicks previously. What did you make of that one, Nate, on the replay?
I think that was a clear free kick.
Triple M Bosch Tools replay screen, no problems there as Grimes pumps a long ball, Rewalt from behind, clearing it well, Dusty picks it up, runner and centre, Dusty Martin, first goal of the prelim final, and Dusty's got it. Is this man a big game player or what? You freak, Dusty. First goal, 1-1-7, the Tigers. Port Adelaide just the one behind. There's your Triple M IJ Liquor scoreboard.
But the first 3 times he's touched the ball, Judge, he's taken a mark, made the right decision. He's taken another contested mark, and on that one, just the front and centre. It's amazing when it's wet. People think the ball goes to the back, but still 9 times out of 10 in a marking contest in the wet, the ball is going to come to the front and centre. That's exactly where he ran, and just good players do the percentages, and then they do the outstanding as well.
There've been aggressive actions with the ball too. He took the mark on centre wing and just played on when he didn't have much space. Here he took a bloke and played on. I always felt that in a big final for the first half of the first quarter, you just sort of get the ball in your boot quickly, Howard, because there was so much pressure in the game, but it's a sign of just how good Dustin Martin is. Even at the start of this game, when the pressure's on, he's willing to take the other opposition team on and be dangerous with the ball.
Triple M Movember stats, Dustin Martin, number 1 rated player during this final series, currently the number 1 ranked player on the ground as we speak. 4 disposals, couple of marks on a major.
Triple M Bosch Tools replay screen. Bosch Power Tool and Accessories, good better Bosch. The number 44, Hawthorn Premiership star, the Rat, Johnny Platten, in the house at the Oval. Free kick going the way of Port. Costin will want to hand it back in a hurry. He does. To Houston. Number 5 for Port. Dusty with the only goal. That's the margin. 7-1. Triple M IJ Liquor scoreboard. Boak's got it half back.
What a year, Travis Boak, All-Australian. one of the favourites for the Brownlow Sunday night. Over there to Charlie Dixon. Out the back, Rosie's really dangerous. Well tackled by Broad. Might like Robbie Gray. Speaking of dangerous, Robbie Gray, he's just missed it. Went with the outside of the boot and it just hit the wrong part of the Sharon. So a minor score. Port Adelaide 2 behind, 1-1-7. The Tigers lead it by 5 points. Triple M Jalika scoreboard.
It was an aggressive kick by Travis Boak, wasn't it? Caught the ball on the half-back line. Usually team put that ball pretty wide, but he stayed in the centre of the ground, even though it was a long ball. A sign he's not going to kick it where the Richmond defenders are expecting it to go.
Melbourne Storm is 12. The Raiders zip. What a start by the Storm. Monday night, usually the Brownlow. Sunday this year, is it, Dave?
It is a Sunday night this year.
Keep an eye for that one then. Dersma to Laddams. Downfield, going the way of Port. Dersma's slow to get up. Going to Jonas.
No, Tom, to your kick.
It is your kick, Tom.
It's your kick. There.
Rewalt ran into Dersma after he'd got rid of the football.
You know, Dersma's coming back from that big concussion as well, Howie. So that is one to watch. He looked a little bit rattled there. Here comes Marshall. Good attempt at the mark. Cochin front and centre. Tried to hack it out of mid-air. And they find it back to Cochin, who tried a little kung fu, bizarre little kick, and it's been turned over. Charlie Dixon, his first real look at it, taken out of it. Tiger defenders back there. Grimes, Hawley, little fumble under pressure. Rosie threw it out to Marshall, centering kick. Touch play on's the call. And Prestia, the reigning best and fairest winner, dumps a long ball out.
Aggressive kick into the middle. Straight on hand to Rioli, who goes a check side inside 50, outside of the boot. That was a little bit fancy, and Cleary is the opposite of fancy, but he is effective. His kick goes out of bounds. Bob Jane teammates Tommy Brown.
You mentioned Dersma. He came off basically clutching just the upper part of his stomach and lower part of his chest. He's just getting it checked out by the doctor at the moment.
Port Adelaide 2, Richmond 7. Dustin Martin with the only goal. The ball half forward for Richmond. On the members' side, 6 minutes to go in the first term. Triple M Liquor scoreboard. Take the heat out of the new McSpicy burger from Macca's. Tackle that baby. That'll get you going. Now Burton squirrels the ball out of defence, and as far as McIntosh. Shallow entry as he sticks it inside 50. Revolt just trying to tap it forward to Graham. Free kick. Does it go on the way of Revolt? Reckon it is. Jack Rewald will line up after getting one high from Jonas from about 45. Noodles, what do you think?
Well, he came across him from the side, Jack Rewalt, and Jonas just got him with the arm, and to the letter of the law, it is high. You don't expect them to be paid in a final like that. Jack played for it, but I think it was there.
He's got the pink boots on, has Jack. Coach was saying this week he's a big game player, he'll get it done. 282 games, 661 goals for the number 8. If you don't mind, usually a pretty good kick of the footy. To just gap Port Adelaide a little bit in the first term in tough conditions. From 48, Revolt. It's a beautiful kick. It's a magnificent kick. It's Richmond's second goal. They skip Port early, 13-2. The way of the Tigers, 5 to go first term. Triple M Liquor scoreboard. Tasty finish.
It was a great finish, Howard, and having a look at the Bosch Tools replay, definitely a free kick there, I think, to Jack against Tom Jonas. But Richmond have just been able to settle in the big moments. We spoke to Kenny Hinkley the start of the game about the stat he'd like to get to show that Port were in the game was contested possessions. At this stage, Port 30 to Richmond 28, so they're very much in the game. Just a couple of times with their forward 50 entries, they've just fumbled at critical times, or they haven't been able to hit simple kicks, Port Adelaide. And when Richmond have had their chances, Dusty was really clean with a crumb. And then Jack Revolt was able to go back, withstand the pressure, take it all on his shoulders and execute with a set shot. That's been the difference so far in this game.
Spot on, Judge. It has been. 41% by foot, Port Adelaide at the moment. We've seen Marlon Pickett fumble. We've seen Bashar Hawley fumble. So it's not just Port Adelaide players making mistakes, but it's Port Adelaide players making the mistakes when they should be choosing the right option going inside forward 50, because I reckon they've had some really good looks inside forward 50, but just haven't been able to capitalise.
Nate Brown, Chris Judd, Triple M Super Special Comments team, the power. All of a sudden desperate for the next goal. It's only 11-point margin, yet to kick one though. Grimes outmarked Marshall.
He wasn't even trying to mark that, Duke.
Yeah.
He was just sort of trying to spoil it and ended up falling in his arms. That's how good a form he's in, Dylan Grimes.
How many marks has that been in defence, Stu, man?
It's their 4th intercept mark inside defence to 50.
Yeah, and that early on already being a bit of a concern. Picked up by Prestia. He kicks it to half forward. Bolton. Jonas did really well. Got it down to Ryan Burton, who's got the man out wide, Dersma. Great to see him back up and running.
He looks good, Dersma. Seeing you on the Triple M Bosch Tools replay. Bosch Power Tools and Accessories, good bear to Bosch. That big hit earlier on. He's come back from that. Port just need one to steady things down. Marshall does well, taps it to himself, picks it up beautifully, puts it in front of the dangerous Gray, looping hand pass to Ebert. Little underground job, let it go, it doesn't matter anyway. Rosie gets a boot on it. Port get there first. Crowds up. Port Adelaide on the board, 1-2. Richmond 2-1. Triple MIJ lick the scoreboard.
Well, it was just surge football pretty much from Port Adelaide. They didn't really have control of the footy at any one time, but they continued to surge it, and they had players on the end. The danger for Richmond is when that footy gets past their wall, and it did towards the end, but it took right up until probably the last couple of centimetres where Connor Rosie got his foot onto the ball. It was a lucky goal in the end, but you've got to be there at the right time, and Connor Rosie was. It was just good surge footy.
Just seeing the runner Chad Corns come out, Juddy, and he's got all the forwards in a group. And he could just lip read him saying, got to bring it to ground. Even you have to spoil everything you can do, cannot get outmarked again inside forward 50. As they scramble that goal, as Nate Brown said. So that'll be a big focus.
I'm watching these long down the line kicks with interest from Port Adelaide, Duke. Usually they go boundary side of the offensive player. They've looked like they've got a concerted effort to put that ball corridor side. So it's a more dangerous kick. Be interested to see if they stick with that plan for the remainder of this game.
Houston and so Ollie Wines, we're back in the restart. Scotty Lysett's toe poked it out wide. Pal Pepper leads in the race. Lysett did well to come and lend some support. Got a good shepherd, Pal Pepper, but then he fell over. He hammered it into the head of Marlon Pickett. Baker was well tackled. Went through the hands of Dersma. Dusty decided to go off the ground. This is all happening on centre wing at the moment. Jaden Short floats a long ball down the line, and Cleary started really well. He's had some good touches on Tom Lynch.
Cleary, back flank. Martin and Revolt, the goal scorers for Richmond. Rosie for Port Adelaide sees Richmond lead it by 5 points. Nice contested operation there from Hartlett. Started the game well. 3 to go in the first term. Spits a high ball inside 50. Laddams gives away a free kick. It's a disappointing free kick to give away. Judge, talk us through it.
Well, you're right, Howard. It was disappointing because the kick wasn't to Richmond's advantage. So it felt like it was a real 50-50 high ball. Laddams is a bigger man than Grimes. So for him to give that free kick away, where if anything, Port had an extra number at that ball drop, that'd be very disappointing for Kenny Hinkley.
So that's going to be a free kick. Laddams has given him one. Noah Bolter in the solar plexus as he's trying to get past him.
Report it, Nate.
Very good umpire, Matt Stevick. Let's have a look at the Triple M Bosch Tools replay. What do we make of that, Juddy and Nate?
It almost hit him in the nuts, Nate. I don't think there was a lot of force in the hit. It just may have hit him in the area where Howard likes to shave, perhaps, Duke. So
it was a low blow.
I think you'll get off that.
Okay, we'll come back and have a look at that. So there's been a report. Laddams reported. This ball's now on centre wing. Marlon Pickett just handed it off to Lysett, which was not ideal for the Tigers. Beautiful pick up from Ollie Wines. Pal Pepper goes the right foot banana to the goal square. Marshall Flostone. And Flostone got it through for a minor score. Storm 16-0 up. 11 minutes into the first half. As we have a look back at that Triple M Bosch Tools replay, what do we think is still, Nate?
Well, it was low impact. He didn't really hit him that hard. He was trying to get past him. Just didn't need to do it. It's just silly stuff that you don't need to be punching people that low.
Burn-Jones drives the ball down towards Gray. Had a good piece of it. Spilled free in the end. Port Adelaide having a good patch though here. Dersma breaks the tackle just. Pickett hangs on in the end. Now to Pal Pepper.
They're going to be a fine.
Yeah, I think you're right, now. It didn't seem to have a great deal of impact as the ball goes out of bounds on the outer side. As you say, though, coming into a potential grand final, you don't want to be whacking blokes in the nuts noodle.
No.
You sure don't, Howard. You sure don't. It was a delayed reaction, though. I reckon, from Bolter. I don't think the impact was that great.
4-point lead to the Tigers. 2 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Inside 50 go the power again. Couple of Tiger defenders spoil themselves. Baker and Flostone. Now it comes out to Rockcliffe. Hacks it around the corner. Laddams knows he owes them one. Charlie Dixon's been quiet. And the Tigers scramble the kick out wide. They want deliberate, the power fans. And they get it. They get it and they love it. Matty Stevick's paid it. And they're out of their chairs as Carl Amon gets a free kick, and he's within range, this man, I reckon, Nate.
He's not a bad user of the football. Not sure it was deliberate. It was a kick from the other side of the ground, I reckon, pretty much, and they just wanted to get out of the area and went sideways, and I can't see how that's deliberate.
Right side for a left footer, Duke.
It was a beautiful kick, Carl Amon.
15 gone.
She grew up with she was in a wheelchair for a couple of years as a young kid. He had Perth's disease, which affects your femur, and remarkable story to see him as a professional athlete. Carl Owen kick to the goal square. Xavier Dersma, front and centre, Lycett, Prestia tracking it, Ebert in there. Look at this contest, numbers around it everywhere. It spills out to Rockcliffe, trying to handle it to the umpire. I think he thought Matt Stevick was one of his teammates. Picked up by Robbie Gray. Well done, Robbie Gray. Finds Xavier Dersma on the left with beautiful skill.
Was just brilliant by Robbie Gray on his wrong foot. Slippery night. So often we hear coaches talk about one soldier going in and we just bring another soldier to replace him, but you can't replace players with this level of class. In a big game, he didn't panic, picked up the ball facing the other end of the ground, wheeled around on his left and hit his teammate lace out. Brilliant stuff, Robbie Gray.
Melbourne Storm 18-0, if you don't mind. Early stages of that match. Great news for the Storm. Xavier Dersma, favourite with the young kids. We love his celebration. This is going to take a good effort. 45-metre kick, and that is like an arrow. And he's going to fire the arrow. Got through for a goal, and the power hit the front. Have a listen to the Adelaide Oval. What a moment, Xavier Dersma. And he goes after Tom Lynch. Goes and gets in Lynch's face and said, "I'll have a piece of you. I'll take you on as well." How good's that for the young man? And they come after Tom Lynch, almost like a set play, I reckon, Judge.
He charged after him, didn't he?
It was good.
I thought he was sprinting off the ground, but he really targeted Lynch, so I'm not sure what the history is there, Duke, but I like it.
I reckon that was a pre-game tactic. We're going to go after Tom Lynch, get in his kitchen, and he went for him. Great stuff.
How good. That was one of the best celebrations you'll ever see, Nate Brown, who's seen the arrow.
It was a quick arrow.
An aggressive arrow. It was a double speed, which is what you do in finals footy, and then straight into Tom Lynch's grill. Beautiful stuff from Dersma.
He's had a shaky start too, Tom Lynch. Tom Cleary's been all over him, but do you want to poke the bear? Do you want to poke a guy that's 200 centimetres that can play like Tom Lynch? We're going to find out. But I love this. That's great footy. It has been entertaining first quarter like no other.
First two for the Tigers, next two for Port, who hold a 2-point lead. Crowd going off their chops at the Oval. Powell Pepper tries to burst it out of the middle. Martin wants a piece of that footy. Now Baker, low ball is good to Bolton, who's been really clean early.
Yes, he has.
In tough conditions. Puts it out in front. Lambert, he hacks it off the ground towards Tom Lynch. Clean ball. Crowd loves it. Lynch is the villain tonight. No concerns about that. Advantage goes the way of Port Adelaide. And Boak.
He's got a man out wide here, Robbie Gray, so they're in good shape. The Power have had a fantastic 6 or 7 minutes. Here comes Motlop. Looked at the goal square was open. He tried to centre it and shanked it. Picked up by Baker. He's feeling a bit of finals pressure. Kicked it straight to Ebert's. Going to come back inside 50 for the Power. Ebert's kick wants Boak. And there is the ever-reliable Vlostone. And got it over for a boundary throw.
He just saw the danger there, Vlostone. He covered 25 metres. He knew the ball was going into the pocket. And it's a 25-metre sprint to get there, but then you have to time it perfectly, which he did.
Some thought Port Adelaide was the game of the year. By gee, the finals living up to it at the moment. Quarter time, what a cracker! Martin Rewalt opened the scoring, then Rosie and Dersma. There's a bit of chat out in the middle as well. Ebert's giving it across to Rewalt. They're still going in the middle of the ground. Port Adelaide 2-3-15, Richmond 2-1-13. Ebert goes again and again and again. Quarter time here. Port lead it by 2 points. Jack backs away now. Pouring rain at the Adelaide Oval. Port by 2 points. McDonald's, Triple M Rocks footy. Quarter time in a wet Adelaide. This is a cracker though. Richmond with the first two. Rosie and Dersma replied for Port Adelaide. They lead it by 2 points at quarter time. 2-3-15 to Richmond 2-1-13. Bob Jane T-Marts, buy 3 get 1 free on selected performance tyres from Bridgestone to Yokohama. bobjane.com.au. The noise when Dersma's goal went through Tommy Brown. It's what you love about the footy.
It was absolutely electric, Howie. Now, in terms of the respective huddles at the moment, Asprey got a little bit of work done. Just some strapping to his right knee and calf. There's no issues there. Just had that fixed up at quarter time. Damien Hardwick went out, looked at the troops, then took some comfort in the dugout. It's pouring rain here at the moment. It's increased in terms of the intensity He's now out addressing the troops. He looks very, very calm, Dimmer. He's just speaking to them as we speak. An interesting story regarding Harvick I came across today from some AFL sources. On the plane over here, we might have mentioned it's Matt Stevick's 400th game as an umpire tonight. Harvick, in an impromptu speech, jumped on the loudspeaker of the plane. I think Steve Hocking in the AFL were in the front thinking, who's that? It was Damien Harvick congratulating Stevick on his 400th game on the loudspeaker on the plane. I don't know if it'll buy him any goodwill, but I guess it couldn't hurt.
It's a bit different from Captain Gronewagen all those years ago. He took over a famous flight. Didn't end so well, but it's a nice touch, and congratulations to Matt Stevick. 400 games, Brownie.
It's been a great first quarter. I thought Richmond dominated pretty much the first 12 or 15 minutes. They were clean through Bolton and Dustin Martin. I thought Jack Graham was very good, pressure in the middle, but slowly but surely Port Adelaide got their running game going, and they were able to get out the back judge of Richmond's defensive pressure a couple of times. And the thing that would be concerning Damien Harvick at the moment, and they're right in this game, they're only 2 points behind, is the 19 inside 50s Port Adelaide had in that first quarter. Richmond only normally concede 10 inside 50s per quarter, so that's almost double. And Marlon Pickett, I could have sworn he had his hands to the ball 7 times in that first quarter. He is statless.
Wow, that is a good stat, because he's at a very tough first quarter. Has Marlon Pickett, but you're right, Nate, it's been the inside 50s, but not just that, they've had really good looks at those inside 50s. Initially, when we knew it was going to be wet, I thought they'd change the way they would come out and play, but they really haven't altered at all. They've been aggressive with their ball use, they've looked for short options, they've looked to run and handball the ball as Port Adelaide, and I think if they weren't for missing a couple of their last kicks inside their forward 50, they could have been 2 or 3 goals up, so they feel to me like they're in control, but Richmond just took their chances better in that first quarter. First
prelim final at the Adelaide Oval, quarter time, about to get underway in this second term. And Port Adelaide have a 2-point lead. Mark Howard, Nath Brown, Chris Judd, we've got the two-man, Tommy Brown at ground level, the full team assembled. And what a start to the prelim final it was. Fantastic quarter, great battle. Here's Nankervis and Lyset. Rockcliffe hacked it out of mid-air and it landed straight in the lap of Robbie Gray. Here they go, out to Ollie Wines. Pumps it inside forward 50. Motlop did well. Got rid of Broad momentarily. And then came Basher Hooley. Wrapped up by Dixon. Big, strong tackle on Hooley. No prior opportunity.
He needs to settle too, Basher Hooley. He had a couple of moments that have been a little bit jittery as well. Jaden Short needs to tighten up on Robbie Gray. He's had him for most of the night in that first quarter. Robbie Gray, 8 disposals. Jaden Short has only had 2 and has not been damaging.
Not 15, play on!
Ball inside 50 off the boot of Port Adelaide, not going anywhere. Triple M Movember stats, 1 in 6 Aussie men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer by 85. Grow a Mo to save a bro. Go to Movember.com. Chewy.
Yeah, Xavier Dersma playing his first prelim, number 1 ranked player on the ground, 7 disposals and a major.
Tackle the heat of the new McSpicy burger from Macca's. That'll get you going, as will this game. Port leading by 2 points at quarter time. They're in attack at the moment. Prestia, he's growing into his game after a long layoff with injury. Back in the qualifying final, Martin does well. Here's Brownie's man Pickett, steps at tackle. And that's good use going forward. Lynch pushed off the footy, had a quiet night so far. Now Castagna goes inside 50 towards Rioli, looping hand pass back. Here is Lynch, you hear the boos, hasn't quite got enough on the kick. And Dersma punches it through. Lynch, is that his first kick, Chewy, or not?
Triple M Movember stats, kick number 2.
Okay, so 15 to 14 the way at Port, early stages second term. Triple M Install a Room scoreboard, built tough for Aussie conditions with the latest technology when it comes to water heating. Install a room.
I'm a bit with you, Nate Brown, on Tom Lynch. I think he's the sort of player, if he's having a quiet game, if you poke him, I think if anything it's likely to spark him into action.
It's the voice of Chris Judd. Triple M Super Special comments, Charlie Dixon. Just a little quiet early in this game. Picked up by Marshall to aim on. So that fullback kicking was an aggressive ball as well. Juddy's onto the fact that they are really taking some risks here, Port Adelaide, and it's paying off. They got a 1-point lead. Right in the game, Rosie was clever. Worked a little 1-2, then stepped around Basher Hawley. Back to aim on, under pressure. Now Ollie Wines, kick inside forward, 50, he likes to drop the mark. It is wet and slippery, picked up by Butters, out wide. Connor Rosie's got it back, very clever player from the boundary line. Connor Rosie's kicked a ripper. He's got a couple. And that was something special with a wet ball tucked up on the boundary line, and the young star has got it done, and all the goals have been from the young guns of Port Adelaide. Rosie's got a couple, Dersma's got one, and the Power lead it by 7 points. Triple M Install the Room scoreboard.
so much talk about how good Richmond's pressure is, and they just sweat on you and they just don't give you any space. On that occasion, they did all that to Port Adelaide, but Port Adelaide withstood that pressure, were able to use the ball going forward, and Scotty Lysette probably should have taken the mark, but every time the ball hit the ground, there was a Port Adelaide player there to either knock it on, get the handball out. Richmond just were that half a step off where Port Adelaide were, and eventually took a great kick from Connor Rozee, but it was just so much skill and so much poise to get this goal.
Triple M Movember stats, and the Clangers are 23 to Richmond, only 14 to Port Adelaide.
Canberra Raiders 0, first half, still in play in the NRL first preliminary final. Melbourne Storm 24. Boy, gee, they are a football team and a half. Martin pushed off the footy. Dersma, there was questions how these young Port Adelaide players would go in their first prelim. At the moment, they're leading the way. Edwards hacks the ball, shallow entry towards 50. Lynch chasing after it to Booze. And that was a lot of the questions, Judge, about Rozee and Butters and Dersma, how they'd go. Rozee and Dersma in particular have been on fire.
Well, I think Butters has been brilliant as well, Howard. And when we did get excited by those players, I think it's because we felt they had the potential to stand up in big moments in big games. And it's what they're doing so far in this game, albeit it's early days.
Port Adelaide fans all over Tom Lynch. You can hear the boos anytime he goes near it. Well played. Pal Pepper just paddled it forward about 20 metres. Now the skipper Jonas did well to get it back to Ollie Wines from half-back. Kick to the wing again through the corridor. Rozee came in. Big ball to be won. McIntosh. Little fumble, the wet ball. Amon tracking it. Can he pick it up? Did nicely. Got it to Boak. Well smothered, though, by Basher Hooley. Came back in. Carl Amon got him. Now the kick came out. It was off the boot of Broad. Lambert got it to Prestia, and then goes back to the big man Curvis, and his kick has found Shea Bolton, landed in his lap. And this talented young man can go back and shoot Browning from about 45 metres.
Yeah, and the fact that Prestia's been playing back in this side has allowed Shea Bolton to play more forward, and I think his start to this game has been brilliant. He's been very clean. He kicked 3 goals last week in a low-scoring game for Richmond, and he has started well again tonight.
4 goals, 1 of his set shots for season 2020. Shea Bolton been one of their big improvers. As Nate Brown just said, he's played a lot of midfield time, but this will take one of his best efforts. Went back on it and just faded late through for a minor score. Port Adelaide 3-3-21, Richmond 2-3-15. And that is the Triple M Installer Ream scoreboard.
Built tough Aussie conditions with the latest technology when it comes to water heating. Installer Ream. Houston runs his full measure and drives it out of defence. Bolter with a big fist forward. Porter got the numbers at ground level. Aim on to Houston again. He's the one that kicked it out in the first place. Down towards Laddams on the wing. Can't complete the mark. Hooley looks like he's in Braveheart because he's got some of the advertising material on his face. Looks like Mel Gibson in his heyday as the Tigers go forward. Lynch. It's a nearly night for Lynch at the moment. Bounces off his chest. And again, Port Adelaide should clear.
I wonder if the crowd's getting into the kitchen. A bit of Tom Lynch. Glittery's done a good job so far. 6-point lead to Port Adelaide.
Used his body well there, Tom Lynch, but just at the last moment it bobbled out.
Just under 12 minutes remaining in this first half. Rosee's been really good. Got a couple of goals. On centre wing, Marlon Pickett. Flostone wrapped up. Well tackled by Ebert.
Mine. Let go.
Umpire says, give it to me.
Shrug the arm up. 1 metre. Hold it. Hold it.
Triple M Bosch Tools replay. Bosch Power Tools and Accessories. Good better Bosch. Lynch, as Brownie said, looked almost a certainty, then it bounced off his chest. What are you seeing on the Triple M Movember stat sheet, Chulenko?
Yeah, contested ball starting to get away from the Tigers. Porter +9, 51 to 42.
Good game of footy this one, Judge.
It's brilliant. The intensity's been right up there. Plenty of speed. Very aggressive ball movement by both teams.
The ruck contest, what are the hit-outs, Chew?
Yeah, well weighted in favour of Port Adelaide, 18 to 5.
And to advantage?
Yeah, hit-outs to advantage, 5 to 1 Port's way.
So they've gone without the second ruckman at the moment. It's hurting them, Judge.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, at this stage, but they'll be backing on that extra run to help them later on in the game.
Hooley to Martin. Started the game on fire. Had a quiet patch at the second half of the second quarter. Really shanked the kick towards Lysette to Bolton.
Great tackle.
It is a great tackle by Bolton. It was like a little antelope taking down the lion, and the antelope won it.
Back to play on.
Oh, good play.
Plays on immediately. Sends the ball deep. Nice work by Bolton. Revolt out the back. All important ball. Castagna in the square. Again, Port Adelaide stand up off the boot of McKenzie. McIntosh wants to deliver it, and it's there.
Go through, Sev.
They've paid it.
Mark's here.
Local fans won't enjoy it. Cameron McIntosh claims the free kick, and he's tucked up on the boundary line. It's about a 46-metre kick on the left half-forward side of the Adelaide Oval, so it's going to be a bit of a...
Almost needs to fluke this one through, Duke.
Yeah.
I don't think he can mean to kick this one through. It just has to be some sort of wobble-up that gets there.
And he's that sort of player, Cameron McIntosh.
Yep.
He could float one.
He's a 10.90 proposition here.
He's just Sticks Kernan floater they need here, McIntosh. And, I don't know, he's just popped it up to the top of the goal square. Not a bad option in the end. Graham picked up by Boat. High ball out of half-back, and Pickett went back and took the mark. Right on the edge of forward 50.
Well done by Pickett.
Lynch wants it deep. Gee, it's still driving rain in Adelaide. Pickett to the point of the square. Lynch, he's got 4 Port Adelaide players against him in the air. 4 of them. And it goes to the back of the pack and across the line.
Pretty good job with that Port Adelaide. They've been able to get the third man up, and even the second, third and fourth man, as Howie just said. So they're in good shape at the moment, the Power. They lead it by 6 points. Lysette and Lynch. This throw in about 30 around from the Tigers' goal. Lysette guided it down to Pau Pepper. Muscled his way through. Got it into the hands of Rockcliffe. Back with a flight. Recklessly sacked Butters. Markle free kick, you heard the call. So the Tigers reload again into forward 50. Dusty, he's just too good.
It's just a better option, Duke, that one, than going straight down to the goal square where you've got 3-on-1 on Tom Lynch, and Jack Rewalder's trying to jump over everything at the moment, not really going near the football, but you see a 1-on-1 and you see Dustin Martin. Why not kick it to him 1-on-1? It's a better chance than going long to a 6-on-6 in the goal square, and he just didn't let him down.
Just the ease with which he dispenses with an All-Australian defender, Dusty. Quite remarkable. He just treated Darcy Byrne-Jones with contempt in that marking contest. Here is the champ. What a record, Dusty Martin.
Oh.
And look at that. Shaped it left to right. Dusty Martin's got 2 goals, and the Tigers draw back level. What a player. What a superstar. One of the best big game players we've ever seen. It's 3-3, 21 apiece on the Triple M Install the Ream scoreboard. Let's get down to Tommy Brown for Bob Jane teammates.
Daz, just to describe the crowd's reaction to Dusty splitting the absolute middle with that kick, dead silence. You could hear a pin drop.
It was just brilliant by Dusty, wasn't it, Duke? He realised he had the strength on Byrne-Jones. Because of that, once they got separation, Byrne-Jones really focused to come back hard and get some aggressive body on him. And Dusty just didn't bother playing that game. He just stepped out of the way. He used Byrne-Jones' own momentum against him. And in the end, really didn't touch Byrne-Jones. Just managed to step out of the way and let Byrne-Jones' momentum do the work for him. But then was able to go back, take the pressure on and finish off with a brilliant goal. Richmond 80% of the time in their forward half in this second quarter to Port Adelaide 20%. So this game's well and truly 50-50 split, Howard.
We've not seen many finals players like Dusty Martin. What a record he's got in the truly big games. Cochin had a quiet little patch. Left foot ball inside 50. Lynch, gee, gives a clip round the ears to Houston. Jonas is like, come on, Tommy. You're getting fined if you do too much more of that. So Houston takes the mark. Tough night for Lynch early. Houston in driving rain to centre wing. Pau Pepper, head shiny. It's not a bad ball. In the end, though, it favours Broad, who's got it out the back of Marshall. Short hit Rioli.
Played that nicely, Nathan Broad. Rain still falling at the Adelaide Oval. Tigers go from half-back, looking for Rewalt at half-forward. Houston, Rewalt then gets access to the footy. Well tackled, but got him cold, I thought. Power fans did too. And
playing a hard game, but isn't he, tonight so far? He's been inspirational, but I know Tommy Lynch already understands that it's going to be a hard night for forwards. It's wet, and the fact that he's going to have to charge against 3 and 4 deep on a number of occasions. But if I was Damien Harper, I'm just saying, all I want you to do is bring the ball to ground. It's wet, you just need to compete. I don't care if you don't kick a goal, but if you bring the ball to ground every time and not get out marked, that's going to give our players a chance at ground level.
Triple M Seabus super special comments. Seabus are super fun. You can trust Chris Judd, Nathan Brown, Slater and Taylor of the Triple M family. Ball inside 50. The ground from the Tigers. Trent McKenzie tracks back, takes the mark. Drives it toward Dixon. His field first real impact on the game with a contested job on the outer wing. Gee, it's raining heavily, Dars.
That's an important moment, sure is, Howard. He get big Charlie Dixon involved. Will make Ken Hinkley pretty happy. He went with the left foot driver, and Laddams has given away another free kick to Grimes, who has outplayed them down there most of the night so far, Dylan Grimes, Juddy.
He's been brilliant, and he's undersized. You know, Laddams is the much bigger man. He's got to be better at that. I'd prefer to see Richmond player take the mark than to give away a free kick like that, which Laddams has done a couple of times now.
One of the Tigers' best, as he always is, Dylan Grimes.
It's healthy again.
He does. Went through that little patch, didn't he, Nate? As the ball goes into the middle of the oval. Clean bowls everyone. Important little foot on it. That was from Amon. Tied up Pickett. Now Cochin arrives. Looping hand pass. Had a couple of goes at it, Lamb, but Burne-Jones has got him. Don't know how he got rid of that football. Umpire says play on. Now Baker's gone. Second time lucky. Free kick, Port.
A couple of incorrect disposal free kicks let go in the last couple of minutes. Burne-Jones was horribly unlucky here not to have that paid.
He was. Question Marlon Pickett's first quarter, and rightfully so, it was horrible. I think he's had a really good start to this second quarter. He's had 5 disposals, and he's done well.
Nate Brown, Chris Judd, Triple MC Bus Super Special Comments Team. Good mark, Laddams. A free kick, in fact, going to be paid to Charlie Dixon. He looks up. Grimes is the deepest defender, so he goes short to Connor Rozee. Really smart player. Rozee pops this one out, looking for Ebert. Off hands. Nice take from Marshall, the big man. Rockcliffe overran it. Short socket off the ground and gained about 45 metres. Hacked forward by Revolt. But the Power have got the numbers in the middle of the ground.
Hartlett to the cannon. McKenzie unloads the big, long left foot deep. Bolter fist towards the boundary line. Umpire will toss it in. Here's the two-man with the Triple M Movember statues all square.
Low numbers for Port Adelaide in this quarter. Boat 3, Wines 3 and Gray 2 collectively. They've only one contested possession between them.
3-3, 21 apiece. There's your Triple M Installer Ream scoreboard. And we've got 6.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Rain pouring, but this is a ripping final. Asprey in the ruck. Laddams. Broad slapped it down. Ebert's been good. Laddams on all fours trying to win possession. So too Ollie Wines. Ricocheted out to Burne-Jones. Down to the forward line. Dixon split the pack open. Rosee's been enormous. He centres this one. Beautiful kick. Oh, his teammate Dersman dropped a sitter. Dropped an absolute pud. And the Tigers can get it to centre wing. Cleary falls over. Lynch picks it up. Burne-Jones tackle on Lamb, but really, really good. Wet ball. We'll give him that, Xavier Dersma, but he'll be disappointed, Juddy.
Yeah, well, he will be. It was just a brilliant kick by Rosie. He hooked it round his shoulder, hit Dersma right on the chest, and Rosie's really disappointed that he dropped that mark.
Oh, it was the kick of the night.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Could have blazed away, Dersma, centred it. And just got away from Dersma. They'll come again here, though, Port through Motlop. Spiralling ball. This will bounce and bounce and bounce and roll. And Vlostone tracks it back. Usually calm in a crisis. He's got to go to a one-on-one, though. And in the end, Castagna sees it across the line. 21 apiece, Triple M Installer Ream scoreboard. Built tough for Aussie conditions with the latest technology when it comes to water heating. Installer Ream. We've got 5:29 to go before the major break. Port led by 2 at quarter time. It's now all square.
Sort of happened in the first quarter as well. Richmond dominated for the first part of that quarter, and then slowly but surely Port got on top, found some cracks, got over the back and finished off the better in that first quarter.
Tommy Rockcliffe won his first ever final in the first week. That time he got nailed in a good tackle. It was Asprey who got him. Asprey at half back now. Just pumps it to half forward. Revolt. McKenzie's been pretty good. At the back, Hartlett coming through Ebert. Dispossessed initially. Edwards picked it up. Don't feel like I've called his main much, true man. Shane Edwards tells what he's done for the night.
Yeah, he's only had 5 touches.
Off the hands of Shai Bolton's got it now. Back to Bashar Hooley. Standing start, floater inside forward 50. In came Cleary. Now the skipper Jonas sliding in. It's wet conditions at the Adelaide Oval, and the Power defenders still trying to work it out. Ryan Burton down the line, and it will be a boundary throw-in. That's 70 out from the Tigers' goal.
It's looked like a lot of players are really keen to try and get a free kick. The anxiety levels are high. Credit to the umpires so far tonight. They haven't been conned into giving one free kick away that's not there.
You've got Juddy and Brownie on your Triple MC by Super Special Comments. Tommy Brown on the boundary. Darcy the call and the two-man, as always. Solidifying things on a Friday night. Basher Hooley stripped of the footy by Robbie Gray, who was retarded. Didn't have the footy, so Robbie gets the free kick. Centre wing. Hands it off immediately to Hartlett. Now Boak and Rockcliffe tackled as he tried to get rid of it. Broad should come the other way. Important ball, this one.
Wants Rioli, finds Rioli. Burne-Jones is a hard man to get around. Rioli working all his tricks and his skills. Burne-Jones won that one. Off the ground now, Ebert picks it up. Here is Robbie Gray. Steps around, and then the kick was either partially smothered or shanked out to the right. Will be a boundary thrown on the outer wing at the Adelaide Oval with 3:54 remaining until half-time. It is all locked away. 3-3, 21 apiece in this big prelim final.
The Raiders have scored. They're 6. The Storm are 24. It's a 24-6 lead to the mighty Melbourne Storm. They did lead 24-0. Must be approaching half-time, I'd imagine, in the first NRL preliminary final. Ball goes out on the full, and Richmond will reload through Hooley on the back half. We've got a couple of minutes to go in the NRL, and the rain continues to come. Tommy, are you in the rain or in some sort of fancy corporate box?
No, Howie, I'm next to the Port and Richmond bench in the rain, sitting to Abby Holmes and Mark Soderstrom from 7. I've got an umbrella up, but it is pretty wet, but I'm dry for the moment.
You haven't gone with one of those sort of cashmere camel operations that you once wore at the G, and you sort of really got weighed down.
I bought board shorts to Queensland. I've flown down here. I don't have anything like that on the road, Howie.
Okay.
Tommy for Bob Jane T-Marts and Laddams. Looking for Charlie Dixon. Noah Bolter beat him hands down in the one-on-one. What a find he's been, Brownie, mate. This man, Noah Bolter.
Unbelievable. When Alex Rance leaves the football club, you wonder who's going to replace him, and this guy has.
Laddams took a really good mark in front of Tom Lynch. Lynch just looks back down at Bolter and says, give it some air. Man injured, Howie, you spotted?
Yeah, Graham looked like he had a bit of a hobble up, Brownie. How's he looking out there? So he's coming off now, Jack Graham. Brownie will be all over that for the Triple M. Bob Jane T-Marts has Port again. Send the ball inside 50, Charlie. The fist of Grimes dominating in the back line. Cochin, little spin, out of bounds. Charlie's down, now he'll get up. He's a big, big man. What's he come in at? Charlie Dixon, 200 centimetres, 105 kegs noodles. How's Graham, Brownie?
He's just getting inspected by the physio and the trainer at the moment. He looks sore. I'll give you an update shortly, guys. It's hard to assess what exactly the matter is just at the second.
So the Triple M Bosch Tools replay looked like Charlie's nose hit the back of Nick Vlostone's head, which would have hurt.
Vlostone now called to play on. Thought he'd claim the mark. Kicks it out wide to centre wing. Lynch fighting hard to get involved in this contest. Hasn't had much of it, too, man.
The Triple M Movember stats. Port Adelaide 30 entries inside 50, but they've only taken 1 mark inside their forward 50. They've allowed Richmond to take 5 intercept marks in that particular zone.
21 apiece, 2 to go before half-time. It's the obvious, Juddy, but goal kicking could well decide this final.
Yeah, I think you're right, Howard. I don't think there's going to be a huge number of chances, so the team that makes the most of them more than likely going to win this game.
You've seen one real clear miss so far, Marshall, to kick the opening goal from 40 on the run.
It's even those kicks inside 50, which is almost like a miss, Howard. If you don't make the most of them when you're not under pressure, they can really cost you too.
The two-time Brownlow medalist Chris Judd to Dersma towards Dixon. Bolter doing a nice job in conditions that favour backman. Marshall, clever tap back. Grimes sees it across the line. Centre wing. 2 to go before half-time. That's minutes, 21 apiece. Triple M Installer Room scoreboard.
Charlie Dixon's the one for me that I just love to see a bit more energy around Charlie. He's had 5 disposals. Hasn't kicked a goal. Bolter's doing a pretty good job, but for the power, such an important player. And I suppose for the Tigers, Tom Lynch at the other end is the one they'd like to get going. Ollie Wines off the side of his boot and landed in the lap at Dersma. Had some really good moments, this young gun. And that's 75 out directly in the corridor. Short pass is okay. Finds Ollie Wines. Minute 45 remaining until half-time. A lot of numbers back on this slow play. Called to play on. Oh, Cochin tried to take a hanger over the top of Laddams. That was ambitious. Ground ball to be won. Vlostone just tunnelled his way through. Did it beautifully in the end. Got it out to Castagna. Got it to Cochin. He got it to centre wing. And Wines gets it to McKenzie. Back it comes.
Shallow inside 50. Gee whiz, your man Motlop took off on about Monday going for that hanger. And that's got to be a free kick coming the other way. It is. So Richmond down towards Nankervis from the boot of Baker. Throw. And it's going the way of Richmond and the big Nank.
The big ruckman It's a up and under 35-metre lob kick almost, which was suboptimal for the Tigers forwards. They're going to find a way now through Bolton to Bashahuli. Short on his non-preferred centering kick. Had Castagna. Castagna used his body well. Went back and got it. Prestia boots a ball. Missed the lot. Out of bounds on the full. And so with 33 seconds and scores level, it will be a power free kick on their last line of defence.
You'd love to hear the Kenny Hinkley half-time address. Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those GFL-style rev-ups, Darts, at 21 apiece. Bit of passion, he said. Pre-game, yes. There's still plenty of time for that in the game.
A bit of Bell Park.
That's it.
Do it for Bell Park, Howie.
That's the way. Real beat-the-chest stuff from Kenny. Burne-Jones in the back pocket with that easily identifiable haircut. It's the nicest way of describing it. Ball to the outer wing through the hands of Dixon. Comes a second time to Charlie. Not going anywhere outer wing. 21 apiece. We've got 15 seconds on the clock. And this is a genuine arm wrestle.
It is indeed. Ken Hinkley, Damien Harwick. Spot in the grand final on offer. 10 seconds until half-time. Duursma floats one to centre wing. But great aggressive launch at that ball. Lostone been really good. There'll be no further score in this half-time. Seconds tick down. And what a game it is. What a second half coming up. Make sure you do not go anywhere. The Triple M Installer Room scoreboard built tough for Aussie conditions. Latest technology when it comes to water heating. Installer Room. There's the halftime siren. 3-3, 21 apiece. We're going to get more from Juddy. More from Nate Barron, the true man, Howie. Tommy Brown is on the ground at the Adelaide Ovals. Thanks to Maccas. It is all square at halftime in the big brilliant final. Triple M rocks footy. I love the team at Bunnings Trade, made for all trades. That's why we're introducing Tormans Professional, specially designed for the professional painter, with a wide range of paint, ladders and accessories all under one roof. You can depend on Bunnings Trade to get your whole paint job done. Thanks to the team at Bunnings for their support of Triple M footy this year. And what a ripping prelim final we have. It is all square at half-time, low scoring 3-3, 21 apiece between the Tigers and Port Adelaide. But Nate Brown and Chris Judd, it has been a great contest so far.
It certainly has, Duke, and it's been played in really poor conditions. The wet has not so much had a real issue with the ball handling. I thought it was a little bit early, but it's just the good players rise when these sort of things happen. And I go through Shea Bolton, who's been really clean, Dustin Martin, Dion Prestia, and on the other side, Ollie Wines has not fumbled once. Robbie Gray, Duursma, apart from the mark he dropped, has been really good. And also Connor Rosie have been really impressed with Port Adelaide's young players. Howard mentioned the fact that a lot of eyes are on them in their first big final, their first big test against a good side like Richmond. But it's been those three players, those young players, Duursma, Rosie, and also Butters, who have been really clean and really good.
They have, Nate, and I think both coaches would be relieved that they're in this game. They're in an arm wrestle. It's not going to be a blowout. Both the evenness of the teams and the conditions mean it's going to be a close game at the end, leaning that the game's going to come down to who takes their chances. And it's not just the chances in front of goal. It's who's going to be able to be cleaner with the ball when the big moments come, who's going to be able to stick a tackle that needs to be stuck, who's going to get a spoil and send it over the boundary line. There's going to be 5 or 6 contests at the back end of this game. They're going to decide who wins this game. And you're right, more than likely it's going to be the best players that are the ones that stand up and deliver in those very big moments.
Great to have Chris Judd and Nate Brown all over this prelim final, and lots more to unfold in this second half. Ken Hinkley and Damien Hardwick on the edge of their seats. Is there any noticeable move, Juddy, anything that you think the coach might want to tweak? I mean, you picked up early, which I thought was interesting, that Port really seemed to be attacking through the corridor and taking more of a risk in the first half.
Yeah, there's certain assumptions that all teams make, and one of those is teams are going to exit the D50 out wide, which Port haven't been doing as we get into this third quarter.
Here we go. Let's get it underway. Dusty Martin hacked it off the ground. Burne-Jones came off his shin. Picked up now by Rioli. Bends this one inside forward 50. Jonas with great courage went back into the oncoming Rewalt. Was kept in by Edwards. Hartley kicked it into the shin of Rioli, and it went out of bounds on the full. So Hamish Hartlett, pretty clever if he meant it, but either way he's going to get the free kick.
Rioli's trying to con them that it came off his knee by grabbing his knee here, Duke, which is the oldest trick in the book.
So the umpire's just conferred momentarily, but it was pretty clearly out of bounds on the full. So Hamish Hartlett, half-back, and once again that really aggressive corridor kick that Chris Judd's been all over. The Tigers have stacked the middle a bit more, and they win it back to Lynch. Flicks the handball over the top. Bolton runs away from Cleary. Bolton to get the first goal of the second half across the face through the hands of Nick Riewoldt. Jack Riewoldt, I should say. And now the Tigers lead by that solitary point. 22 plays 21. Triple M Bunnings trade scoreboard.
Rioli was like when you glove it behind, Juddy. You just rub the shoulder and just show the umpire. Oh, gee, that one got me high.
Yeah.
Houston, long ball out of defence. Oh, nice by Bolter. He's had the upper hand in the Charlie Dixon battle and he marks. Centre half forward. Charlie stands the mark. Noah stubs it inside 50. Lynch comes from nowhere. Splits open the pack and takes his first big, strong contested mark of the night.
That's as good a mark as you'll see in dry weather. That is a pack mark in between two players going at full tilt. What a big mark and a big moment for Lynch. He's been down. They've targeted him. He'd love to kick this.
He's had an early possession with a hand pass to Bolton. Dusty's giving him a bit of advice, which he's grinning at. 4 disposals. Big contested mark. His first shot at goal tonight, Tom Lynch, to give the Tigers the perfect start in the second half. It's good off the boot. It's great off the boot. Lynch opens the scoring for the Tigers in the second half, and Richmond lead it by 7 points.
It was an absolute brilliant pack mark, like you mentioned, Nate Brown. He had a quiet first half, but you just have this sinking feeling that Dersma getting in Lynch's face, the other Richmond player, the other Port players getting in Lynch's face, is going to come back and bite them. If there's one reaction that has no place on the football field, it's sadness. What does have a place is anger. And a player like Tom Lynch isn't going to get sad when he makes a mistake. He's going to get angry. And I suspect he's going to be using that emotion to full effect in this second half.
What I liked straight after that, and before he kicked the goal, him and Dustin Martin having a bit of a joke to calm his nerves, and then after it, Dustin Martin walked over and it was almost like a reassuring smile that, yeah, he's a great player and you've done what we needed you to do. And then they're all smiling, which is a big sign for Richmond. I know it's a long time out. It's only 7 points the difference, but I thought that was a huge sign straight after they kicked that goal.
Triple M Movember stats. Last 2 matches, Richmond only averaging 9 intercept marks per game. They've had 9 already in just over a half.
Brownie Jade, I thought almost more alarming for me was Noah Bolter, how easily he outmarked Charlie Dixon and set that one up.
No, it's Richmond's kick, Dion. No. Let him up, please. Shane. No. Shane, let him up, please.
Free kicks going Shane Edwards' way, umpire Matt Stevick in there.
Robbie.
Just working it out. It's going, in fact, the way of Toby Nankervis, and almost the double whammy, isn't it? Lynch takes a big aggressive mark, and their big forward outmarked, as I said earlier, by Bolter. Well played, Trav Boat. Came in with Basher Hawley sliding in. Now they've got a ball to one in the corridor. Dixon got a hand on it. Slap back forward by Bolter to Edwards. He just pulled the kick late cleverly to Bolton. And it was really well thought out. Bolton wants to get it. Lynch is in the box seat. Oh, Lynch couldn't quite drag that in. Cleary got back and found a way to get it to the ground, which was no mean feat. And so on the Bunnings trade scoreboard, 5:29 Richmond, 3-3-21 Port Adelaide on the Triple M Bunnings trade scoreboard.
Bolton's putting his name in lights, Brownie, tonight.
He is, Howard, and he's, as we've discussed, he's been playing midfield for most of the year, but been sent back to the forward line, and he has been electric.
Charlie Dixon claims the mark now. He's wrestling and raging. Not paid. Richmond lead it by the Lynch goal. 8 points. Triple M Bunnings trade scoreboard. Bunnings trade, new range of professional paint. You get it now right in store.
Lyset, Nankervis, Powell Pepper went one way. Graham picked it up, well tackled by Boat. He thought he had him pinhole in the ball. Scotty Lyset pirouetting through. Still big contest. We won Motlop in there, Prestia in there, Graham back in there again. Now the handball comes out wider. Rioli got it nicely back to Basher Hawley. Really awkward ball for Burn Jones. Powell Pepper got it back to Burn Jones, and that was a clever kick to the wing, but Charlie Dixon's having a bit of a nightmare, I reckon. Dropped another one.
By contact.
Free kick will go the way of Dersma.
I reckon you're right, Duke, with Charlie Dixon. That was an uncontested mark. Went straight to him, just wasn't able to hold on to it. He needs to regroup and he needs to find something here for Port Adelaide.
Which is what Lynch has done in the early part of the second half. Winds, shoves it forward. Powell Pepper, funny little ball. Goes touched or is it out on the full? Not touched, but the umpire's saying it was out on the full. And
that's a little touch.
Definitely touched.
Man wants it. Smashed into his hands. Let's have a look at the Bosch Tools replay screen. Bosch Power Tools Accessories, good better Bosch, and it's been overruled after the ARC got the message from the judge.
It's great, that ARC, isn't it?
Yep.
Money well spent.
Yeah, it's a few design functions that are concerning, but it's a good system.
Scotty Lysett on the edge of 50, 4-point Adelaide, Pal Pepper. Ryan back there, tackled fairly. Marlon Pickett only got it as far as Tom Jonas. Here come the power inside 50. Motlop nearly pulled down a ripping mark. Well, little Baker, now Rosie, kicked a couple of first half goals. Rockcliffe, a bit of a fumble. Houston, well tackled by Baker, took in the full 360. No prior opportunity, says the umpire. The Tigers have got an 8-point lead early stage of second half.
Triple M Movember stats. We'll get to the two-man shortly. He's busy beavering away off to the side. Broad bangs it out towards the boundary line. Dersma, first on the scene. Rioli collars him immediately. Now Ebert. He gets Broad. Centre wing, the ball not really going anywhere. And eventually the boundary line wins out. The suicide rate for young Indigenous men, aged 25 to 29, is among the highest in the world. Grower mode to save a bro. Go to Movember.com, Chewy.
Yeah, Noah Bolter, 8 possessions, a couple of intercept marks, 4 intercept possessions and 6 spoils, the most on the ground. Charlie Dixon, 6 possessions and scoreless.
Thanks, Two-Man. As always, a Two-Man, big finals performer himself. Steps up to the plate big time. Now to throw in the result on centre wing. 8-point lead to the Tigers. Ollie Wines, the most disposals on the ground so far, 15. Shea Bolton with 11 for the Tigers. Here's Lysett and Nankervis. Umpire correctly letting that one play out. Prestia, up and under ball. Lynch came hard at it. Houston at ground level. Castagna headlong into Jonas. Umpire let it go. It was a bit reckless. Dusty hacked it forward. Power have got some numbers back there. Jonas. Dersma took on the Prestia. Castagna tackle. Incorrect disposal. Tigers free kick.
Could be an injury concern for Port too. Tommy Brown will be on that shortly. Castagna shanks a ball to the hot spot. McKenzie in the Martin contest. Lynch with a releasing hand pass only as far as Hartlett. Running back now under pressure is Amon. Spits it out towards the boundary line and that wins out. Bob Jane T-Marts, buy 3 get 1 free on selected performance tyres from Bridgestone and Yokohama. BobJane.com.au. Tommy.
Yeah, big news, Howie. It looks like Burton has done his hamstring. He's on the bench. That's going to be a significant blow for Port from a rotation perspective and personnel perspective. I'll confirm that shortly, but that's certainly the signs at this stage. Burton, a hamstring.
No, that's no good at all, Tommy. We'll come back to you on that. Not what the Power need. Just saw the great Byron Choppy Pickett in the crowd there. Port Adelaide Premiership player. Here's Rosie. Down the line, Marshall gave a good contest. Motlop dangerous front and centre. Can he get past Grimes? Marshall double hands it over the top. Wanted Butters, but the Tigers' defence through Castagna were able to get the clearing kick out. Now Cleary off the shin of Dersma. Nice pick up from Houston. And then Graham laid a really good tackle. Really, really strong tackle at halfback.
Gee, that's tough luck for Burton. I mean, imagine even his team progresses through tonight, he'll be unavailable for the grand final. What looks to be a hamstring issue. Hasn't taken any part in the second half. McKenzie has been good tonight since he's come back in the side. He's done some big jobs, one on Tommy Hawkins. Now Amon round the corner to the bald-headed Pal Pepper to Lysett. Takes on a man in Graham. Does well, Big Scotty. The former Eagle down to Charlie. Oh, coming through his Rosie free kick. Was he stripped to the footy? Wanted it, played for it. Umpire disagreed. Charlie goes the one-hander. Bit of a wrestling move. Now Boulder's under pressure. McIntosh. Graham, did he have an opportunity to get rid of it? He did. Porter going to get it. She's action-packed here. Richmond leading by 8 points. Motlop gets the free kick. He's too far out to score. Can he pinpoint a pass? He looks to Big Scotty Lysett. Looks like a biker with a big moustache. Could see him in leathers, Judge, and now he's got to kick one. The big man from 45 on a tight angle.
He wouldn't look out of place in your boogie board gang up at Bowen Heads. That's how hard Scotty Lysett's looking at the minute, Howard. But it's been good this start of this third quarter. Scotty Lysett giving him some run away from Jack Graham only moments ago, and it's going to be a very important kick for the Port Adelaide Football Club.
What do you think, Brownie? Big Scotty.
He's going to take his very best, Howard. It's a wet ball. Haven't seen him kick a lot of goals from this far out, though.
I'll back him.
Scotty Lycett to bring the house down and bring Port Adelaide back within 2 points. It's bending.
Oh, wow.
Scotty Lycett pumps the guns up, pumps the crowd up. Port back to within 2 points.
Always back in a big ruckman under pressure. Always, Howie.
Good call, Duke. Good call. I thought it was really well umpired as well. There was a couple of opportunities to pay a free kick to Connor Rosie first of all, but I thought he played for it, and then the ball just spilled up a couple of times, and Jack Graham clearly didn't dispose of the ball correctly, and the umpire could have let that one go as well, but I thought that was the clear free kick. The umpires have let the game roll fairly much free kick free for most of the night. They haven't paid those ticky touchwoods, but they've been right on the money with most of them.
It's a good call, mate. The umpires or the coaches need to tell their players, don't pay for free kicks, particularly if it involves going to ground, because you take yourself out of the game and the umpires aren't falling for it.
Huge goal. Scotty Lycett, Premiership ruckman with the West Coast Eagles. Came to Port Adelaide on a 5-year deal. He's into his second year of that 5-year deal as a restricted free agent. And that was a big-time goal in a prelim final. Back to a 2-point Tiger lead. 8.5 minutes until three-quarter time. Going in the ruck was Latham, and the power win the clearance. Marshall coming through Connor Rosie. It was taken by Baker. Marlon Pickett. Baker with a wild boot to it, managed to get it only as far as Hartlett. Now Dersma. It's going to come back again here for the power. Where's Big Charlie? Gave the contest. Butters was tackled well by Bashahuli. Spilled back to Butters. Has a shot from the boundary line, possible angle. Across the face of goal. 1-point ball game. Tigers by 1 point. Triple M Bunnings trade scoreboard.
Jaden Shaw to bring it back in. What are you liking on the Triple M Movember stats sheet, Chewy?
Yeah, Port 5 out of the last 6 entries inside 50.
So they got the momentum. 1 goal apiece. Lynch and Lycett this term. And Cleary kills the ball. Here's Chewy again.
Yeah, and the pressure rating's gone through the roof in this quarter. In the first half combined, both teams were at 191. In this quarter, it's at 222.
Real finals-like pressure rating that, true man, as the power fans are in full voice here at the Adelaide Oval. Huge minutes coming up until three-quarter time. McIntosh had an errant handball taken by Boak. Boak inside 50 on the left foot. Coming in Noah Bolter. He's been huge tonight. Managed to get it over for a boundary throw. Deep inside the forward 50 for the power.
I reckon I just saw Ryan Burton. So whether he's okay, Brownie, or whether he's just trying to help with rotations. Brownie can't hear a thing.
Yeah, I can.
Go on then.
He came into the game a little bit underdone. He didn't appear from the 17-minute mark of the second quarter. He's just gone back out. He had some thigh issues. He's got the hamstring strap. But most importantly and significantly, he's back out on the ground. So we'll keep a close eye on him.
Well, good news for the former Hawk. Good to see. Richmond have got it. Off half back. Short. Down towards Lynch. Laddam's in that contest. Taps it down towards Hartlett. Now Wines. Eberts. Drops the footy. Picks it back up. Puts Wines under pressure. His hurried kick to the wing. Gray's given away a free kick. Judge, he didn't like it.
Just felt like it wasn't quite there. They've been letting go those half free kicks all night, Howard. There was some contact in Bashahouli's back, but didn't feel like it was a free kick for mine.
Port fans not happy with that one. Bashahouli down the line. Laddams, big launch at that one. Didn't quite bring the mark down. Jonas on all fours. Hurried kick from Ollie Wines. Ricocheted off Camden McIntosh's leg. Carl Amon cleverly socketed it down the line. As short wraps up Robbie Gray. And on the centre wing, we're going to get a boundary thrown. Big fly from Laddams.
It's a fair effort for Burton if he has sort of tweaked his hamstring to be out there and having a rotation. Got to get to the bottom of that.
And that's your Triple M Seabus Super Special comments. Nate Brown, Chris Judd. Seabus is super fun, you can trust. They won all the awards at the AFL Media Dinner this year for their special comments work. Has that dinner happened yet or not?
I just want it on the record. I don't feel it is Burton's hamstring. Howard is the medical professional.
What do you think it is, Judge?
I'm going to go with a corky.
Okie dokie.
Corky to the thigh region.
All right. Congratulations on all the awards you boys won too.
That was very good.
It was.
Just a habit, Howard. Winning's a habit.
Yep.
Only as good as the team you're going to the grand final with, though.
Well, that's it. Till leave one of your mates in the cold. But anyway, that's a discussion for another day as the ball goes across the line. Centre wing, right in front of Tommy Brown. Triple M Bunnings Trade scoreboard. Bunnings Trade, new range of professional paint now in store. Sees Port Adelaide trail Richmond by a point. 60 go before three-quarter time. She's a cracker.
Sure is, Howie. Huge prelim final. Huge minutes coming up. 6 until three-quarter time. 1 point ball game. Here's Laddams in front. Bolton attacks it. Butters went after him. Edging forward the Tigers. And once again, we'll have another boundary thrown. This time about 75 metres around from the Tigers' goal. And as I said, a 1 point ball game. 4-5-29 Richmond. 4-4-28 Port Adelaide. Crucial stage of this prelim final. And Curvis worked his way in front of Laddams. Laddams with the fist from behind. Little underground handball was beautiful from Martin to Prestia. Awkward ball to defend. Awkward ball to mark. Tom Lynch got a great tackle on Lynch.
Wow.
That was enormous. It was the Port skipper, Tom Jonas. You couldn't lay a better tackle on that, Juddy.
That was the most brilliant tackle I've ever seen, Duke. Not only did he wrap him up when he was going at full steam, Tom Lynch, when he was being flung around, he then grabbed his right hand, precluding him from being able to handball the ball. That was just about the best tackle I've ever seen in my life.
Well, was it the best which you went with, or the just about
It
which
was
you
the
went
best.
with at the end?
Yeah, that was the best, Howard.
The best tackle you've ever seen.
Name me a better one, Howard.
No, I'm agreeing with you. It was a phenomenal tackle.
You shouldn't sound surprised at it.
Oh, no, there's just a lot of tackles that you've probably seen. But anyway, Rioli.
I can compute that sort of data instantly,
I
Howard.
want you to back away from it with the nearly best. Prestia, high ball inside 50. Oh, Castagna held it, dropped it. Gee whiz, he had it for about a 30-second period. Tigers fans can't believe it. Boundary line wins out.
That is a big moment in this football game, Howard. 2 grabs at it on the Bosch Tools replay for Castagna. Held on to it for what felt like an eternity for mine. Only 10 metres out directly in front of goal. Big call from the umps.
So instead we have a boundary thrown. Tigers still in attack. Lysett and Lynch do battle. Oh, good tackle, Lynch. Wrapped up Darcy Byrne-Jones. So they'll reset again. Inside forward 50.
Umpire making you earn everything tonight. Castagna was a borderline 50-50 whether you pay it. I thought the umpire hasn't been paying those tonight and they've been consistent.
Boat was legged. And the Port Adelaide champ, Trev Boat,
Hold the mark here, please.
will get the free kick and relieve a bit of pressure for the power.
Tackle the heat of the new McSpicy burger from Macca's, available right now. Boak sends it to the outer wing. Dixon could have taken a mark and just smacked it forward. Been that type of night. Here's an opportunity for Port though. Rosie, he's kicked a couple of snags, sends it out wide to Motlop, being quiet. He's got runners, he needs to move it and move it quickly. Now just a flood of yellow and black jumpers drift back. Rockcliffe, has it got the distance? Gee, it was tight to Rosie. This young man passes it off and goes to Boak. And these are the moments in a tight game, 48 out, no angle judge that can decide whether you get into a grand final or not.
Well, he's one of the most experienced players, the next captain of this footy club. But just looking at Connor Rosie on the Bosch Tools replay, huge contest with Boston in the middle of the ground, then got a handball receive, kicked the ball out wide, followed the ball up to get an uncontested mark. He's been absolutely brilliant, Connor Rosie, for Port Adelaide, and set this shot at goal up.
Travis Boak from 48 out, directly in front to give Port Adelaide the lead. Never really looked like it. Slides off the outside of the boot. In the end, doesn't register a score. 3:42 to go before the final break on the Triple M Bunnings Trade scoreboard.
Your Melbourne Storm updates have dwindled down, Howard. You had about 48 of them in the first half.
30-6.
Thank you.
30-6, as good as into yet another grand final, the mighty Melbourne Storm.
I thought at one stage you were at a rugby league game.
Just across more than one sport, Nate. I know you're a very insular cat that understands football and nothing else in the world. A few of the rest of us like to keep across things.
You kept calling them a football club, Howard. Was that a mistake in hindsight?
They're a football club. They play football.
They don't play rugby?
No, they play football.
Thought Phil Gould had come into the commentary box.
Just like straight sets is 2 losses, Judge.
Not talking about me, Howard. We're trying to make you better.
Marlon Pickett at half back.
Sounds like you're trying to make me sound worse. But anyway.
Spirals one to the wing, and it has gone over for a boundary thrown. 1 point ball game, 29 plays 28. 3:24 left until three-quarter time. And this is enormous. Dustin Martin, have you seen his game, Chairman? What's he had?
Yeah, Triple M Movember stats. 13 disposals, 2 majors, leading ball winner for the Tigers.
Nankervis in the front of the contest to Boak. Kicked the last shot towards goal out in the full. Martins kicked 2. And then Curvis to Edwards. Clever hand pass to Graham. Outside of the boot might work. Wasn't intended for Ioli. Coming in Mackenzie. Impacts the contest. Impacts it nicely. Now Rosie's got space.
He has, and he is a dangerous player, Rosie. Decided to get boot to ball. Wanted Laddams. A lot of Tigers defenders back there. Oh, Robbie Gray. What about the pickup? How good was that? Pirouetting, spinning. And then he handed it off to Burton, I think that was. And he's just mucked it up right royally after some Robbie Gray brilliance.
Looked like Burton had a play to give a handball to, and it was Charlie Dixon running shotgun just to his right-hand side. Would have been an easy handball, just clearly didn't see him, Burton.
Would have been a certain goal too, Juddy. You look back at the replay, the Bosch Tools replay. So one goes begging, Bashahuli under pressure, Baker taken high, and Laddam's a bit clumsy. Just a pressure valve release of that one, Howie.
It's the curious case of Ryan Burton as well. Known as a defender, Noodles. He's forward at the moment. He's got injury concerns.
Well, he's clearly out there for a rotation. He could have covered himself in glory.
He could have, but he didn't. Hooley. Driving ball forward. Burn-Jones, All-Australian. Does nicely. Nice step from Ebert. It's an important little inching ball forward. Big fly from Laddams. He's done a couple of those. Doesn't look like taking either mark, but he's flown nicely. Now Bashar.
Bashar tucked up on the boundary line. Pops it down towards the wing. Jack Rubolt's been super quiet. Tough night for forwards in the rain. Houston. Dersma. Well played by Edwards. Tackle without possession, maybe.
It's like, for me, Port Adelaide have been the best side for at least the last 15 minutes. Pretty much since the Lynch goal, which put Richmond 8 points up. I think Port Adelaide have dominated this game, haven't been able to put it on the scoreboard, have had some really good looks inside forward 50, have had the best moments, but they just haven't had the poise at the moment.
We'll get to Tommy Brown shortly. It was Port by 2 at quarter time, square at the half. Richmond lead it by a point. We've got 1:40 to go before the final break. It's deliberate. Port will get it. Bob Jane, Tommy Brown coming in.
Tom Lynch is on the boundary having his calves worked on. He looks like he's got a bit of cramping in a critical phase of the game now for Richmond in terms of trying to score a goal. It's not an ideal rotation situation.
I don't know how a bloke kicking the ball off the ground, middle of the ground, and it goes out of bounds can be deliberate.
Yeah, brutally harsh call that one, Nate Brown. I tend to agree with you. As we find this ball in centre wing,
Holding the
free
man,
kick.
never took possession.
It's going the way of Asprey. You heard the umpires mic'd up exclusively for us on Triple M. Tommy Brown brought to us by Bob Jane teammates. Minute 17 until three-quarter time. Tigers launch an attack on the edge of 50. Rewalt competing. Pickett flicked it out to Dusty. He was well tackled. Amon in there. Dusty went back. Little sideways handball, okay. Beautifully picked up Baker. He's a chance to score. Decide the short pass. And Noah Bolter's playing forward. Where did that come from?
He has shot out of the goal square on that occasion, and a great kick from Baker. He just saw the danger. He pulled his kick. He was able to just ease it inside forward 50. It was a brilliant kick to Bolter, and Bolter just hands out in front in the wet. That was a brilliant take.
Just the 7 career goals, Noah Bolter, in his 28 games. Only kicked 1 in season 2020. Huge moment coming up, the young man. He has slid it across the face of goal. And the Tigers lead it now by 2 points. Triple M Bunnings Trade scoreboard.
From Damien Hardwick, I'm getting a message out to Jack Rewalt to say, you're a great player, Jack, but you've spent most of the game on the ground or complaining about the umpires looking for a free kick. Keep your feet, stay in the contest, and start to do something.
From Port Adelaide, I'm getting Kenny Hinkley's speech from the GFL Grand Final and playing it on loudspeaker, Judge.
I like it, how
14 seconds to go before the final break. This is a ripping finish coming your way on Triple M football. Vostone, last opportunity, spirals it forward. Dersman takes the mark. There will be no further score in the third quarter. What a quarter we have coming your way. A spot in the grand final up for grabs. Richmond 4-6-30. Port Adelaide 4-4-28. Richmond leader by 2 points at the final break. Who's going to be the villain? Who's going to be the hero? Who's going to be playing off in the 2020 AFL Grand Final? You'll find out in about 35 minutes time. From McDonald's, Triple M Rocks Football. What a game we've got here in the first preliminary final. Port 2 points up, quarter time. Square at the half. Richmond 2 points up at three-quarter time. They are 4-6-30. Port Adelaide 4-4-28. Bob Jane teammates, buy 3 get 1 free on selected performance tyres from Bridgestone and Yokohama. BobJane.com.au. What's Ryan Burton up to there, Tommy Brown?
He's playing deep forward and looks like he's covering a rotation. I'm not sure if it's his hamstring or his quad. I know he came into the game with limited preparation. They are managing his game time, but for the moment, he's playing deep forward. An interesting one, Howie's Tom Lynch. Now, he spent time on the bench at the end of the third quarter, had his calves worked on and was on that pickle juice or beetle juice, or whatever we call it, that Dr. Rowan White sometimes talks about, that can be dealt with, or can be a symptom, if you like, of cramps. So keep an eye on Lynch's fitness as well this quarter. Again, Lynch, he missed a couple of games before the final, so perhaps that's having a bit of a bearing on his fitness levels tonight.
Thank you, Brownie. Melbourne Storm with 6 minutes to go. Nath lead their preliminary final 30-10 versus the Raiders, so it looks like Melbourne Storm through to another grand final. Triple M Movember stats. Testicular cancer is the #1 cancer in young men. Grow a motor, save a bro. Go to Movember.com. Chew up a low.
When Richmond have led at three-quarter time, they've won 13 out of 14 times. Connor Rosie, #1 ranked player for Port, 13 disposals and a couple of majors.
13 out of 14 times they've won that, Chewy.
Yeah, when they've led at three-quarter time.
Well, now you got your Triple M C-Bus super special comments. C-Bus, the super fun you can trust. Chris Judd, Nathan Brown gets no better anywhere.
Well, it doesn't feel like anything's really changed in that third quarter from the first half, Nate. Port well on top in contested possession, 109-94. They've had more uncontested possession as well. It feels like they've had more chances, but Richmond have been more effective when their chances have arisen.
Yeah, I think Port Adelaide played the better football, but it's going to come down to this last quarter. Who has the best poise? Who has, I guess, the brain to use the footy the best in traffic, not fumble, and that is going to be the winner. So the old stat, which they don't take, the less fumbles will win this last quarter, Duke.
Nice, Nate. Nice, Juddy. Two man's ready to roll. Tommy Brown at ground level. And Howie ready to call this last quarter. Everything we've got here, this is huge. First prelim final, spot in the grand final, awaits the victor tonight, and the Tigers with a 2-point lead. This is a genuine toss of the coin. Anyone want to revisit their pre-game tips, Juddy? What are you thinking?
I'm sticking with Port, Duke.
Nate?
Richmond by 5 goals.
Richmond for me, Duke.
Howie, who's going to win this?
Tiggs by a kick.
All right, okay.
What do you think, Horse?
I stuck with the power.
Okay.
I think they will find a way. So here we go, last quarter. Here's Mark Howard.
Away we go. Spot in the grand final, up for grabs. Richmond leading it by 2 points. Immediately, Prestia extracts it from the middle. He's got the clean Bolton chasing after it, and he is clean. Tries to get away from Dersma. Gets him. Handballs towards the boundary line. And Port are going to get it for deliberate or holding the pill. Take your pick.
Great tackle with the young gun, Xavier Dersma.
Brilliant tackle, wasn't it, Duke? He got the fend off there from Bolton, but was just able to work through it, hang on to the tackle and get that free kick for Port.
Good to see Charlie Dixon crash that pack, but the Tigers have got the runners and the numbers. Flicking around to Dusty Martin. Trouble coming up. Lynch. Oh, beautifully done, Martin.
Just sums up quicker than everybody else, Duke. Most players, when they get that ball in their hands, are thinking, okay, where am I going to run? How am I going to use this? Dustin Martin's already got his head down, head over the footy, and he's already picked out Tom Lynch before a lot of other players have settled with the footy.
So can the big gun forward, who's had a pretty quiet evening, just the 6 disposals, kicked a goal in the third quarter. Can he open the final quarter with a big goal? 50 metres out, directly in front, heading left and staying left. Richmond by 3 points. Final quarter on the Triple M Choice Hotel scoreboard.
Book direct at choicehotels.com for hotels across Australia for the lowest price guaranteed. Terms apply. Straight kicking. Who can do it? Who can win it? Dixon's given away a free kick. In fact, he's received a free kick. It's gone the way of Dixon to Butters. Now Dersma. He's had a good night. Drives it forward. Rosie flies, brings it to ground. Butters up. There's Rosie. Gee whiz, he had a fair piece of that pill. Cross the line, is it deliberate? Surely not this time. It is, it is, it is!
Well, at least they've been consistent. They've paid them all night. Tell you what, it's almost last touch out of bounds here in this prelim final. There's Rockcliffe, sends Port Adelaide back. Charlie, got it! He got it. How many marks tonight, two-man?
Yeah, Triple M Movember stats, that's only mark number 3 for Charlie Dixon.
Couldn't have come at a better time. The big man, 202 centimetre, 105 kilo, big forward.
It's one of the first times he's got separation from Noah Boulder, and then the big ruckman who was meant to be getting back in the hole got in Boulder's way, and they both collided, and almost an uncontested mark in the end of Dixon.
taken more contested marks than any player in the AFL this season. Charlie Dixon. Can he launch a big goal? Nice looking kick. Oh, big Chaz. Charlie Dixon. The double fist pump. And the power in front of the prelim final. Did they need that? Triple M Choice Hotel scoreboard. Port by 3 points.
Just brilliant by Charlie Dixon. And you could just see how much it meant not only to him but to the Port Adelaide players around him. He had a really quiet first half. I actually felt he started to warm into the game in the second part of that third quarter. He didn't take too many marks, but he just started to halve some contests. He tapped a couple of balls on in the air that were important for his team. And when you do have your star big forward down, particularly when you're a younger player, it just can make you feel a little bit nervous. If he's overawed, it can start to make you question whether or not you should be overawed as well. But to see him go back and kick that goal, Dersma was the first person to go to him after the ball went through the goals. That would have meant a lot for this Port Adelaide Football Club. Feels like the momentum's well and truly with the power now.
Triple M Bosch Tools replay, Bosch Power Tools and Accessories. Good, better Bosch, old mate in charge. David Kosh sort of turned away like your grandma would. Couldn't watch it. And in the end, it went its way through. And his young bloke had to say, Dad, it's fine. It's a major. Extraordinary that. You'll see a lot of that replayed, I would have thought, over the weekend. McIntosh, squaring ball. Lynch, Rewalt at the back. Houston tries to get rid of it. Oh, it's got to be a free kick to Hartlett. Gee whiz, coming in Tommy Lynch. I'm not sure you can debate that one with the Tommy.
No, fair and square. Took Hartlett's head off, didn't he?
He did.
Howard? So, he was angry, Lynch, but no case to plead for there.
So Hartlett picks his head up, then picks the ball up. Drives out towards the boundary line. Robbie Gray is seen across that boundary line by McIntosh. Didn't like the attention. Melbourne Storm have won 30-10, Nath, so they will be into yet another NRL Grand Final.
That's good to hear, Howard.
Their 10th Grand Final since 1999.
What about that for a stat, Howie?
They're a great rugby league club.
Who also play football.
We love the Melbourne Storm.
Rugby.
Craig Bellamy.
Not rugby, rugby league. Rugby's what the Wallabies play.
He's down Prestia, little fumble, and if you were Kenningly and you could have asked for something you want in the last quarter, would have been exactly that big muck to Charlie Dixon, a big goal, Juddy.
Yeah, great call, Duke. Exactly what they needed as a footy club.
It's a nice statement. Going to have a boundary throw in here. It's just on the edge of forward 50 for the Tigers. Scotty Lysette, the big Nankervis, and it spills out to the skipper Cochin, bending it around. Lynch did well to get a hand on it.
Timing was good, Duke, wasn't it? It was straight after that man, Tom Lynch, missed one at the other end, which is about 55 out, the same as Charlie Dixon. They go straight back down the other end and kick that goal. And what Judge said, the momentum right now is with Port Adelaide.
3-point lead to Port. Triple M Choice Hotels scoreboard. Book direct at choicehotels.com for hotels across Australia for the lowest prices guaranteed. Terms apply. Lambert, little incher, little slider, little ripper. Lambert with an underground pill has given Richmond the lead in one of, if not the, games of the year. Richmond 37, Port 34. 12:40 to go before she's all done, and now they're pushing and shoving in there as well.
Massive goal to the Tigers. Again, Shea Bolton involved. Every time he's been involved in this game tonight, as a young player who's still making his way in the game, I think he's been the cleanest player out on that field tonight. Every time he's gone in the ball, he's made it count again. I don't even think he'll get a stat for what he did in that pack, but he was the one who was able to get the ball out towards Lambert, and Lambert, underground goal, kicked a ripper.
Yeah, credit with the goal assist, Brownie. You can also throw in 5 score involvements according to Champion Data. He's also number 1 for metres gained for the Tigers tonight at 316, along with his 14 touches.
Nice work, true man. It's on the Triple M Movember stats, and it is goal for goal in this last quarter so far. And the Tigers now get back in front by 3 points. Important centre clearance coming up. Now umpires decide to throw it up. Laddams jumped over the top, picked up by Prestia, hacks it forward. Rioli, awkward ball to handle. If anyone can do it, Rioli can. Nice tackle applied in by Ebert. Marlon Pickett, he was dispossessed. Picked up by Butters. Having to go back now, Powell Pepper. Awkward one for him to handle. Laddams sliding in. Lambert over the top. Tucked up on the boundary line by letting it go. And now it will be thrown in on centre wing. With 12 minutes remaining in this prelim final, it is the Tigers by 3 points.
What are you liking on the Triple M Movember stat sheet, Dewey?
Yeah, Dustin Martin, 17 disposals in a couple of majors. Number 1 ranked player for the Tigers.
Can he drag them across the line? They lead it by 3 points, Richmond. Goal apiece, Dixon and Lambert in this term. Richmond come again. They stick it inside 50. Revolt, really good fist at the end by McKenzie. He's had a great night. He's blanketed Revolt, who's been quiet. Lambert kicked the last goal, spun in the tackle. Driving hand pass forward. Houston with a bit of candy. That's ambitious across half back. Screwing ball out of defence. Dixon hits the pack hard. Pickett tries to pick it up at ground level. I think the umpire will have to come and sort the boys out.
So it will be thrown up.
I think it was that contest, Duke, sorry to jump in, that contest by Dixon, 2v1, he didn't lose it. They're the ones he wasn't halving earlier on in this game.
Yeah, good point. He's got a bit more of that sort of zing we needed with Charlie Dixon. Here come the Tigers again. They're peppering their inside 50s at the moment. Good fly from behind McKenzie. Dusty picked it up. Ebert, good tackle. Still managed to get a handball away to Dusty. And the shot from short. Across the face. 4 points. The lead to Richmond on the Triple M Choice Hotel scoreboard.
Tackle the heat of the new McSpicy burger from Macca's. That'll sort you right out. Houston from full-back. Tasked with bringing the ball back in. Goes aggressively down the middle of the ground. Laddams, one hand to it. Prestia. Now Powell Pepper. Ball to be won in the middle of the ground. Dixon had no prior opportunity. Spills to Powell Pepper. He gives it across towards Butters. There's still a ball to be won. Butters at ground level. Now Rockcliffe punches it forward only as far as Bolter. Had a nice night. Little sizzler forward to Rioli. Kick and a half from home. Rewald's calling it. Lynch is calling it. That's the way he goes. Can one of the big forwards take a mark? Rewald, Lynch, McKenzie at ground level. Martin's in the area. Rewald goes again. Umpire will toss it up. Richmond deep in attack, leading by 4 points. 10:42 on the clock.
Putting on some nice pressure here, the Tigers. Camped inside their forward 50 at the moment. Laddams and Lynch. In came Prestia. Picked up Boat, thought he was taken high. Spilled out to Dersma. He tumbles one outside defensive 50. Butters did really well. Houston did well to get it back to Butters. Back to Rosie. Flicked it over his head. Only as far as the Tigers. They are really well set up at the moment. Power just hanging in there. Ball comes back inside 50 for the Tigers. McKenzie smacks it down in the Houston direction. Houston, he wanted to find Amon. Stolen by Pickett. Ground ball to be won. Cochin over the top. In there is Rockcliffe. Powell Pepper as well.
This is what Richmond are really good at. This is what they've built their whole game on. The first 10 minutes of this last quarter. Port Adelaide can't get the ball past their half of the ground at the moment. Richmond's set up behind the footy is really good, but the one thing they're not doing to Port is kicking goals with multiple entries.
Prestia taps it forward into space. Revolt attacks the footy. Prestia goes off the ground, misses everything. Bolton, cleanest player on the ground tonight. To Short, bit of candy. Left foot is good to Cochin, wants to go. Looks for a target. Now goes high inside 50. Prestia's going to have to fly of all people. Martin picks it up. How's he done that? Goes the check side, got the wrong side of the footy towards Revolt. Spills to him, Jack. Can't get a full kick towards the ball. Now Lynch. Laddams takes on a tackler. Wow, she's a hot footy. Boundary line. Is it deliberate? Is it deliberate? It is! It's deliberate! Rockcliffe hates it. And Lambert gives it to Revolt. But Lambert's going to have to take the kick.
Well, they've played it all night.
Wow.
They've been very consistent with it.
The difference was there were two Port players standing there for that one, weren't there?
Lambert in the pocket. He'll have to hook it round to give Richmond a 10-point lead. Goes now. It looks good off the boot. It looks brilliant off the boot. Richmond have skipped Port. They're up by 10 points with 9:24 on the clock. A chorus of boos in Adelaide. But Richmond are one step closer. Triple M Choice Hotel scoreboard. Chew. In the unlikely event she's a tie or a draw or all square at the final. Sarah, what happens?
Yeah, we have a 6-minute break firstly. Then we have 2 by 3 minute halves, Howie, plus time on. So 2 by 3 minute halves plus time on. Last year it was 2 by 5 minute halves.
Ooh. Lambert's kicked the last two, Judge.
Well, yeah, and just an interesting call. Just having a look at the Bosch Tools replay. Hartlett was there. He punched the ball. Tommy Rockcliffe was half a metre away from that ball. I genuinely believe Hartlett's ambition was to get the ball to Rockcliffe. So I think the umpires took a misstep on that call, Howard. It's been a costly one, but if you're a Port player, there's just no point focusing on it. There's no point whinging about it. There's still plenty of time left in this game. You need to regroup. They desperately need this clearance. They need to get their head back in the game.
10-point margin, 9.5 minutes remaining in this prelim final. The Tigers with the lead. Hawley off the ground. It ended up being an opportunity for Camden McIntosh, who took the mark. Now he sends it down the line. One-on-one chance. Lambert down there. He's given away a free kick on this occasion, but the last 2 goals of the game, Kane Lambert has been huge. Let's get down to Tommy Brown. What are you seeing down there, Tommy?
The reaction just before of Dustin Martin, he was on the bench as Richmond kicked that goal, and it was absolutely emphatic. The crowd noise didn't match it because it's obviously barracking for Port, but Dusty was absolutely stoked. Richmond definitely up and about.
In the meantime, 50-metre penalty. Rioli
had a brain fade.
Yeah, just a real strange moment. And so to that kick from Hartlett. He's kicked it straight to Nan Curvis, and Ken Hinkley is going off his tree.
Judge, just back to the deliberate. Rockcliffe made no attempt to get the ball. He made half an attempt to look like he was sticking out a hand.
Just needed to touch it down, didn't he?
Maybe, yeah.
Might have convinced the umpire the other way. Edwards round the body. Oh, Burne-Jones, nice grab. Bad hair, good grab though. Takes it right on the AFL logo. Centre wing. Port need to now score. It's a 10-point margin. Be close to a game high, chew that.
11 points it was to the Tigers in the first quarter.
Marshall with a bit of a muffy hand pass. Sounds a lot of time, 8:20, but gee, whiz, in a low-scoring game. Port will get a free kick here. Hartlett's been laid out. Amon's got the advantage with a squaring ball, short. Motlop hasn't been sighted. Tracks it back, Motlop, boundary wins out.
Chance for the Power, though. They set up inside their forward 50 again. Brilliant attack before from Hamish Hartlett. Dribbling Bosch Tools replay. Bosch Power Tools and accessories. Good, better Bosch. 10-point ball game.
Need to be able to lock this one in, Port Adelaide. Exactly what Richmond did at the other end. They had at least 8 or 9 minutes with the ball in their half of the ground with multiple opportunities.
Yeah, here it is. Dixon had a chance for clean possession. I think it was Houston who got it down to Laddams and the goal square free kick. Laddams is going to get it. 10 metres out directly in front. The big ruckman, Peter Laddams. Tommy Rockcliffe and McIntosh are going toe-to-toe. Stay out of that, Tom, because your man has got one directly in front. And another big moment for a big ruckman.
And it was there, Duke, the free kick. Loston just got over the shoulder of Laddams. And, good to see an evener upper there going in Port Adelaide's way.
Does not get bigger than this for Peter Laddams. It's 202-centimetre ruckman. He spent 3 years on the rookie list. Directly in front, 15-metre kick. He leans back. And he kicks it, Big Pete. Well played. The Power get back to within 4 points. It was pretty close. Triple M Choice Hotel scoreboard. 7:26 on the clock. And game right back on.
It's just one of those ones, the tackle from Vlostone, he was on the wrong side. He couldn't see where the ball was, and he thought that Laddams had the footy. But sometimes when you tackle from behind like that, you don't realise the ball spilled out. So you still think Laddams has got the football, so he dragged him down, and the ball had already popped out. The umpire made the easy decision to pay the free kick, and well done by Laddams, kicked the big goal.
Triple M Movember stats. This year's final series, we've been averaging 28 free kicks per game tonight. They're way up. We're at 41.
Nice work, Chewy. That's your Triple M Movember special. Support by 2 at quarter time. Square at the half. Richmond by 2 at three-quarter time. Currently, Richmond leader by 4 points. Lambert kicked 2 this term. The Tigers, Dixon and Laddams with the goals. Laddams bringing Port Adelaide back within 4 points. You got 7:26 on the clock in what is shaping up as the game of the season. Who will stand up? Who will be the hero for their side? Prestia towards Nan Curvis. Wobbles the ball forward, coming back with a flight. Really nicely done by he in the helmet. And that is Brad Ebert.
Had a good night, Brad Ebert. That was a really telling mark. Got in front of Lynch. So from half-back, Ebert dumps it long. Where's Big Chaz? You would think he'd be the target. He's going to play the front centre role and did pretty well, though the handball missed Powell Pepper. Now it opens it up for Dusty. Charlie came back, tried to clean up his own mess. Powell Pepper, an awkward ball to Hartlett. They're just giving some nervous moments to the Power fans here as Robbie Gray came in, squeezed it out wide, wanted Boak, and just couldn't drag it in. So boundary thrown on centre wing. 6:40 on the clock. 4-point lead to the Tigers.
crowd on their feet in Adelaide, cheering, pushing, doing everything they can to get their side into a grand final. Cochin's got other ideas. An opening kick into the middle of the ground. Rioli's got pace. Looks inside 50. Screws it back around the corner. Rewalt. Really well done coming back with a flight. It was a Port Adelaide defender. Not sure who it was, Judge, but gee whiz, it was Ebert. What an effort that was.
Good call, Howard. It was an absolutely brilliant contest. Back with the flight. His crunched knees with Jack Rewalt. May have banged his head on the way down too. So just a brilliant spoil, but he's paid the physical price for it now.
Clearances since half-time. Richmond 23, Port 7.
He's in a bad way, Brad. Yeah. He's concussed completely.
He got kneed in the head and then his head hit the turf.
No, the knees connected, so it looked like he banged his knee pretty hard, and then his head was the first thing that hit the ground. So it was a bit of a double whammy for him.
He's had a big history with concussion as well, Brad Ebert. And listen to the standing ovation he's getting. His proud club, their 150th year, have won more premierships than any AFL club in the country. And the famous Ebert name, one of the most famous at Port Adelaide, Brownie.
It is. It's a fine line too. Going back with a flight like that, it's quite easy to make front-on contact, and Jack Rewalt was in the perfect position for it. But Ebert went back and took only football with him with his hand and got it to the boundary line. It was brilliant.
He's like a boxer who's been KO'd, and they're helping him out of the ring at the moment.
If they get up, Das, though, this will be a true test of the concussion protocols in grand final week for Ebert.
Yep. What a brave moment. And they're the sort of moments that win your matches. Lynch has got hold of the ball, took it out of the ruck, and then dispossessed. Had to be holding the ball, play onto the call. Ollie Wines gets back in. Good tackle from Edwards. Rioli got it to Bolton. He's dangerous, he's tricky, he's skillful. Left foot shot at goal. Shane Bolton just missed. That would have been something special. Margin out to 5 points in favour of the Tigers. Triple M Choice Hotel scoreboard.
So Ebert's off concussed. Burton has got what could potentially be a hamstring. He's been on and off the ground, but he'd be a massive question mark if they were able to get through. They got to get through first though. Chuckles, Dixon, nice contested, wants to move the ball. Puts it out in front of Pal Pepper. Does it bounce for him? Does it sit? It does just. Screws it back, was running out of territory and only hits Jaden short. 5:40 on the clock. Richmond up by 5 points.
Jaden Short, normally a penetrating kick, pumps it down the line, looking for Rewalt. Just the 5 touches tonight for Jack. Here come the power. On the back of their superstar, Travis Boak. Goes to forward 50, but Nathan Broad, and they're well set up behind the ball at the moment, Nate Brown.
Yeah, they certainly are. Rewalt very, very quiet tonight, but I think this last quarter he's looked more likely than any other time in the game.
And now Broad sends it down the line. McKenzie, good mark on the AFL logo on the wing.
Except for then.
And he can take a little bit of thought through this one as he goes out wide and finds Travis Boak, the All-Australian.
Boak looking to drive his team inside 50. It's a little chiseler trying to favour Dixon. Rosie's there. Nankervis claims it. Gee whiz, to be other hands, but the big Nank's got it. The umpire agrees.
So Toby Nankervis stood up there in defence. Sends it out wide. Jonas, the skipper, with a timely fist. And that will be a boundary thrown on the wing. Like Connor Rosie with the naked eye had it, but pretty good decision, I think, for the umpire in the end, Juddy.
Yeah, it looked like Nankervis and Connor Rosie both touched at the same time for that first grab, I reckon. So happy with the call there by the umps.
4:36 remaining in this prelim final. The Tigers by 5 points. Ball on centre wing. Aim on there. Robbie Gray came through. Free kick.
Port Adelaide.
Robbie Gray's going to take it.
Funnily enough, a slow play here. The ball's been held up a little bit. Almost helps Port Adelaide, Duke, because they need to get some numbers into their forward line to even up the contest in their forward 50.
Grand final spot on the line. Richmond lead it by 5 points, 4:16 to go. Lysett wobbles it forward. Pal Pepper, Nankervis spits out a quick hand pass. Baker's kick off the ground is stymied. Now there's a race. Dersma, skillful play, needs to get rid of it, runs himself into trouble. In the end, his hand pass only goes as far as Cochin. He's looking for Pickett. Needs to get rid of this Pickett. He could get run down. Gee, he took them on. He just banged the ball forward only as far as Burn-Jones. Triggers a little kick to Boak. Can he hit a target deep inside 50? Dixon sets himself. Out the back though, Vlostone.
Did well, Vlostone. What a consistent player he's proven to be. Kicks it to defensive 50. Powell Pepper wrapped up by Rioli to the boundary line. Burne-Jones kept it in. Hartlett, can he get a handle on it? Managed to surge it forward. Through came Butters. Powell Pepper. And a boundary throw. 3:27 left in the prelim final. 5 points. The Tigers have the lead, and it's inside forward 50 for the Power.
Dustin Martin on the Triple M Bosch Tools replay screen, looking at the bench, pointing to his wrist, asking how long, and then they put up their hand. 3 minutes.
And 27 seconds with a 5-point margin the way of Dusty's Tigers. Port, though, in attack again. The boundary line wins out.
Everything at the moment counts. These are enormous moments in a game. He'll be a hero either way. Can the Power find something here? 3 minutes 18 left on the clock. 5-point ball game. On the edge of 50 for Port Adelaide. Lysett and Nankervis. Here's Prestia. Got it back to Marlon Pickett. Got boot to ball. Sends it down the line. Dusty Martin. Mark claimed by Houston. Great effort on centre wing.
Houston, the number 5. Just short of the AFL logo. 50-metre drop punt down the line. Falls to the front. Cochin. Nice little shimmy to Broad. Looping hand pass to McIntosh. He's away now. Takes a bounce. Chased by Marshall. McIntosh. High left foot ball to a one-on-one. Revolt's dragged down.
Richmond.
So Jack Rewalt. 65 out. Goal here. Richmond are just about home. Into a grand final. What do you think, Judge?
Yeah, I thought it was there. Mackenzie was facing him, made front on contest. Jack's trying to say he's going to have a shot from goal from 70 metres out. You can't give him his full 30 seconds from there, Howard.
15 goals!
Oh,
He is. Is there a short option? Revolt is lining up. You think he's going to take it off and drop it to the top of the square. Lynch is down there. Jack Revolt with that little stutter. Wobbles the ball forward. It's high, it's floating, it's deep, it's right to the teeth of goals. She's a 6-point margin. 2, if it's all square, once more.
Well, we'll have a 6-minute break and then we play 2 by 3-minute halves plus time on Howie.
Watch this kick. 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Houston, only one way to go. Pumps it down the line. Marshall from the side. Dixon, Todd Marshall, good contest. Picked up by Motlop. Streaming forward the Power. Kick out wide off the side of the boot. And they're calling for deliberate. They will tear the stand down if they pay that one, the Power fans. Minute 50 remaining in this game.
Richmond leader by a straight kick. Hardwick directing. Kenny Hinkley just sitting back now. The game is in the players' hands. 1:50 to go. Richmond leader by 6 points. Nankervis, Lysett, Cochin. Shins the ball into the middle of the Adelaide Oval. Players coming from everywhere. Richmond just want to stop it, slow it, hold it.
That's exactly right, Howard. They just want to get as many players they can around these balls. Just multiple stoppages, multiple ball up. Take 15 seconds off the clock every time.
Tom Lynch has camped himself down behind the ball. Dersma gets it inside forward 50. Charlie Dixon, second, third attempt. Couldn't quite mark it. Baker boots the ball. Broad wanted the boundary line and he got it. And so 1:22 on the clock, 6-point ball game. Tigers with the lead. This is 60 metres around from the Power goal.
Can someone from Port Adelaide etch their name into the history of this famous club to square it up and potentially send it to extra time? Richmond by a straight goal. Powell Pepper bounces forward. Can't get a clearance. Richmond are loving it. They're soaking up time. Broad will do everything to keep it near the boundary line. It's only as far as Dersma running back with a flight. 1:08 on the clock.
Courageous mark, Dersma. Can they get a mark? Dersma off the side of his boot inside 50. Nankervis. Oh, the big ruckman. Got back, and that is a telling moment in this game. He can take plenty of time. Nankervis, 51 seconds and counting. He's been called to play on. Sends it down the line. Cleary, Rewalt did well. Slapped it towards the boundary line. Jonas, the skipper, got to keep it in. Rockcliffe hacks it back to the edge of forward 50. Laddams fisted away from that man. Boundary throw in 34 seconds remaining.
Richmond are doing this absolutely perfectly, Judge.
They are. They're milking it, the clock. They're getting the ball wide. They're creating stoppage after stoppage, but Port is still in with a chance.
I don't think they can lose at Richmond. They lead by a goal with 34 seconds on the clock. Port Adelaide need a clearance. They're just forward of the wing. They need to bang it inside 50. Spills to Rioli. They don't get a clearance though. Martin off the ground out towards Rewald. He'll be happy to see it once again across the boundary line. 22 seconds on the clock. Richmond lead it by a goal, and Port need everything to go right here.
Well, they need someone to hit this pack, Howard. They need someone from the defensive side to hit the pack running and just hope that they can take a clear ball. 22 seconds to go. He's got to put all the chips in now. They might get a goal back the other way, but somebody like a Duursma needs to run through and take this.
20 seconds, 18 seconds and counting. The Tigers get it their way to Lambert. Pressure seconds tick off, although the mark's been taken by Cleary. Has to get it moving. 10 seconds remaining. Cleary from half back. Kicks it to half forward. They got to get a mark. Out came Laddams. Front and centre. 3 seconds remaining. Off the ground by Ollie Wides. And the mark taken by Lynch. And it will be the Tigers. Goes through to another grand final. They win this one by 6 points in what has been a sensational prelim final. It is Richmond through to the 2020 AFL Grand Final at the Gabba.
Risking head and shin. If we're behind, then never mind. We'll fight and win, for we're from Tigerland. We never wink until the final siren's gone. Like the tiger of old, we're strong and we're bold, for we're from Tiger. Yellow and black, we're from Tigerland.
Everything we love about the game. Port by 2 at quarter time, square at the half. Richmond 2 at 3/4 time. In the end, Richmond 6-10-46. Port Adelaide 6-4-40. Richmond win it by a straight kick. Lambert with 2 goals in the last term is the hero. Rosie kicked 2 also for Port. Dusty Martin snapped a couple as well, as he does in finals, alongside 21 disposals for Dusty. Potentially another 3 votes. And there he is, arm in arm with his coach Damien Hardwick. Kenny Hinkley, it's a brutal game. Already needs to start thinking about next season. But Brownie, we'll get to you in a moment. Here's Koch, courtesy of 7.
Port have been an amazing team all year. The way they hump the contest is obviously the reason they finished on top of the ladder, and we knew we had to come here and just try and take something away from them. Tough conditions. I thought it was an outstanding match. I feel like everyone here watching tonight and everyone at home would have got a lot out of it.
I think contested footy, somewhere you guys have struggled at times during the year. That last quarter was amazing in terms of your clearance work too as a team.
Yeah, I feel like we just remained pretty composed. Didn't let any of the thinking get in our way. So just chug away at the process, and we knew they were going to keep coming. They're a fantastic team.
With your role at the club, has it been hard not to dare to dream with this game in the way, or you tried to remain so focused on it?
No, I think that's the beauty of having been there before, is that you know exactly what's required. You always talk about prelims being amazing matches, and they're really hard to win. Port will walk away from here kicking themselves, but they should be really proud about the way they attacked the year. It was a challenging year for all teams, and credit to our boys, we give ourselves another chance.
You've had something like 103 days on the road. It's been a remarkable performance. What's it been like in a hub for that time with the boys that close?
Yeah, look, I mean, Brooke and I talk about it a lot. Just how unique our group is. I've never been in another footy club, so I don't know what it's comparable to, but we just have fun every day. We don't see it as work. We see it as getting together and doing what we love. And that effectively takes the pressure off as well. Our club's been great in the support that they've provided us through Hub Life. I think the AFL's done a great job of just managing everything this year. It's been a challenging year for all, but we're here in Adelaide. We've won a prelim and we give ourselves a chance next weekend at the Gabba, so incredibly grateful.
Congratulations for you guys. Well, the dynasty may well continue next week. Well done, Trent.
Thank you. Appreciate that, guys.
Thank you to Trent and Sodas and 7. Tackle the heat of the new McSpicy burger from Macca's. It's a tough game when you see a man like Charlie Dixon with tears in his eyes on the Triple M Bosch Tools replay screen. Didn't seem to be any major injury issues for the Tigers that we saw, and they are into a grand final.
They are, Howard, and I thought that probably the one thing that stood out tonight was the Tigers' clearances. They won by 12 in the end. They got smashed in clearances last time they played.
Here's Noah Bolter.
In 4 years, so how proud are you of everybody involved?
Oh, extremely proud of the boys. Well fought out. We know, from the past history of our team, we know we can fight it out, and it's good to see that we did that tonight, especially with this crowd. They got great supporters. That it's unlucky we don't have the Tiger Army here. But I think we proved how good we are. So yeah.
And you yourself, you're very quickly becoming one of the best defenders in the competition. You had a tough job on Charlie Dixon, held him goalless until the final term, and we even saw you go forward. So you had a very all-rounded game. You just needed to slot that goal, didn't you?
Yeah, I know. I kind of poked at it. I didn't kick through it, but no, Charlie's one of the best defenders, best forwards I've played on. So all credit to their whole side. It could have went either way in the end, and glad we got the win.
And Soda's just had a chat to your skipper in Cochin, 250 games. He broke the club game record last week as the most games for a captain. How important is he to this footy club?
Trent, it shows when you just put the camera on him, the way he loves the boys, how he loves everyone in outside, the way on and off field, the way he steps in and just puts his head over the footy. He's an incredible man, that fella.
Well, we might start walking over here because I think the boys are going to go and enjoy this with some of the Tiger Army. But obviously, you're not back home in Victoria this year. How important is it for these fans to come out wherever you might be around the country?
Unbelievable. It's good to have some of the Tiger Army here, but to all Tiger Army at home, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.
Thanks so much, Noah. Best of luck next weekend at the grand final.
Old mate holding up a sign in the crowd, Liam Baker, please marry my daughter. Who covers clangers? Amy does. Lucky you're with Amy. Geelong take on Brisbane tomorrow night. Richmond go into the grand final as favourites, Nate, whoever they play.
I think they do now. I think they do. And the first half clearances, Howard, were 20 to about 7. I think they were plus 7 up Port Adelaide in that first half. Richmond turned it around and won by plus 12. Massive difference in the second half clearances. Look, Port didn't do anything wrong. Port played a fantastic game of football. The only thing that I think stopped Port from winning this game was maybe that last kick inside 50. I thought they had some great looks, but when it came down to it, their poise inside forward 50 lacked a little bit, where Richmond, they took the big moments. They got that ball to Dustin Martin on half-time. They got that little underground goal, and then they did get the luck with the out-of-bounds deliberate, which will be spoken about a fair bit, but I thought both teams were very, very even. If you had to look at one thing that Richmond did well, it was the clearance work, and one thing that Port didn't do so well was their forward entry 50s.
Here's Kane Lambert.
It's just fantastic, the support we've had. And, we're thinking of everyone back in Melbourne, but, we're really looking forward to next week now.
As you know, I think he just had 7 or so touches, but a couple of important ones, just to pop up at the right time.
Yeah, I think so. That's the way Dimmer coaches. It's not necessarily all about statistics for the Tigers, but, when you have your moment, you've got to step up. And I thought across the board, the boys, they had their moments, they really stood up.
You've had prelims at home with a big crowd, but this is a completely different experience. Do you guys go into it differently with a different focus?
Oh, not necessarily. We come to the game with the same focus most weeks, but, it is a hostile environment, but, you can go two ways. You can let it intimidate you, or you can soak it in and embrace it and, have a smile on your face, and I think that's what we've done.
Toby Nankervis in the ruck went up against her. It was a pretty impressive performance. The clearance work in the last quarter was remarkable.
Yeah, Toby's been huge. He's an absolute warrior for us. He's doing the bulk of the ruck, and I think that's what he likes. He likes competing. He gets in there. I think Dave gave him a really good chop out as well. So he's an important player for us, Toby.
Suck it up, mate. Enjoy it. We'll see you at the Gabba next week. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Next to 7, and Kane Lambert, who kicked 2 majors in the last term, as Richmond win 6-10-46 to Port 6-4-40. Richmond into their 3rd grand final in 4 years. Do you agree, Judge, with the summation of Noodles that Richmond will go in as favourites, whether they play Brisbane or Geelong?
Well, I think it'll be 6 to 1, half dozen the other. I think it'll be a pretty even match. Both those two sides have had brilliant years. We know Geelong have been the top performing side for a long time, and Brizzy are going to be at their home ground. So I think it'll be fairly much an even money bet. But this game tonight, like Nate said, was just a ripper. In finals, you get to find out if players are what they say they are. Every player says they're a player that's going to be able to produce when the game's on the line, and I thought the players from both teams showed that they're capable to do it when the heat is very much on. They can both walk, all of them can walk off the field with their head held high. It was a brilliant game of footy.
Scenes in the Richmond race as Trent Cotchin's carried off in game 250, and then Marbor, Chol and the boys that are the emergencies and on the edges of this squad just came down and swamped their teammates. Benny Garr was in there as well. A stunning game of football. Chewy, Dustin Martin, his numbers tonight, he's a finals player and a half.
He certainly is. He had 21 disposals, Howie, a couple of inside 50s, 4 clearances, and nailed 2 goals straight to Dusty Martin.
That noise is the victorious Tigers walking into their rooms. Geez, they're about to. Tommy Lynch, they got trainers, they got the coach arm in arm, Dusty's hugging people, Rioli's dishing out high fives, Jack Rewalt's got the fist pump, Asprey's in there as well. real excitement. Noah Bolter's handing out hugs and kisses and everything. Some real excitement, as you would expect. The Tigers now gathering themselves in a tight circle as Noah Bolter now gives Damien Hardwick a bit of a rub on the head. He is dishing out some real love. Cochin the last one in. The players are calling for an entire group circle. A bit reluctant. Now the squad comes in. So it's the players and the extended squad, including the emergencies. A great rendition of the famous song, Don't Go Anywhere. Judge and Brownie will hand out the votes. The Macca's moment, we might do a bit of talk back even if we're feeling the mood to really just pull things out and fully dissect.
13353.
Yes, it could be a 13353. Might be a couple of Triple M mystery packs, some candles, some leotards from Jagged and
Howie bumper sticker.
Yeah, Howie bumper sticker, and Dar's got a couple of pubs to give away as well from McDonald's. Triple M Rocks Footy.